welcome back. It's Thursday. Forgive me. I know I said I was going to come back yesterday. My apologies. I was really tired, guys, and I had to make the decision to actually get some rest because your girl works a lot. But I hope everybody's having a great weekend. Oh, well, weekday, I should say. And I hope everybody had a great hump day. And shout out to Mary for being the first one. I truly appreciate you. Thank you so much for tuning in with us. And your children's getting home from school. And I hope they had a lovely day too as well, Mary. Hey, Josh, how you doing? So good to see you. Good to see you. How's work? I hope everything is going well with you, sir. So just make sure you're hitting the like button for me as you're tuning in, or just coming to stop by to say hi. I know that people got things to do and it's towards the end of the day, right? I do have 3 new cases for you guys, so hopefully we can go over that together. I'll try to get through them as much as possible. I do have to go to work later on this evening, so this is why I started at this time. So the first case that I would like to go over with you guys is a case about Katie Kenyon. I hope I'm saying her last name correctly. But it's about a story about Katie Kenyon. It seemed like she might have been a victim of a domestic violence situation. And I wanted to go over this. This is pretty old. I think this happened around in the 2019s, 2020s. So I thought this was interesting. So we're going to review this right now. Let me go ahead and share my screen. Hi, how you doing, Joanne? How you doing? I hope you're having a great Thursday, dear. Thank you for stopping by. Y2 Kimberly, thank you for stopping by, sis. How are you? I hope everything is well with you. I hope everything is well. All right, so let me go ahead and pull up my screen for you guys, and we will get this going. All right, here we go.
Handyman to inquire about a missing woman. They have no idea they've stumbled upon a serial predator. It's only after investigators unravel a trail of evidence leading to the woman's disappearance that they discover a murderous plot that has been long in the making and a lifetime of manipulation and lies. Before we begin, we would like to send our sincere condolences to the loved ones of Katie Kenyon. It's early afternoon on April the 22nd, 2022, when Dawn Kenyon receives a troubling message from her 33-year-old daughter, Katie.
This is the bravest thing I've ever had to do. I need to find some peace and sort my mind out, so with the $6,000 Andy gave me to pay the debt off, I'm being free for a while until I figure all this shit out.
Dawn has always been close to Katie, the middle of her 3 daughters. The family live in Burnley, a historic market town in the north of England. It is a close-knit community, and the family enjoy a quiet, rural life. Lately, though, things have been more turbulent than usual. Katie, a single mom of 2 children, has been struggling with anxiety, and it's not uncommon for her to message her mom several times a day. But it's not the contents of this particular message what's worrying Dawn. Call it a mother's intuition, but Dawn is absolutely certain that whoever wrote this message, it wasn't Katie. Dawn phones her daughter's mobile, which goes straight to voicemail. Panicked, she raises the alarm with her 2 other daughters, Sarah and Jenny. Like their mother, Sarah and Jenny know immediately that something is very wrong. Katie is known for her devotion to her children. In the years since Katie separated from their father, she has thrown herself into creating a loving, stable home. And then there's her dog, Indy, who she has walked religiously since the day she got her. It's inconceivable that she would just up and leave. By early afternoon, Katie's whole family are searching for her. Katie's car is not parked in its usual.
So what I want to state to the beginning, as you can see, the family was worried. The family was concerned. They got a message from their loved one that did not sound like her. And this is what made them have a red flag where they just started looking for her and wanted to basically find her, right? Actually visibly and physically find her. And that just goes back to say about the way how we even write people can sense whether or not if it's truly that person or you, right? You have a certain way how you phrase your words, the way how you write words or you frame your sentences. That is all a part of your character and who you are. And us as humans, we can pick up on that. So we can know when something is robotic, and we can know that something has personality in it, or that person that you're talking to. So I just wanted to point that out, that gave them a red flag, receiving that message, and then off of the basis of how this woman lived her life. She's all about her kids, so she would never, ever abandon her child, right? She would never abandon her children, never. And then on top of that, she always walked her dog on a regular basis. So for her not to walk her dog or not even ask her family members to walk the dog for her, that raised flags. But let's go on.
Usual spot outside of her home. Entering the house with a spare key, her family find that everything is in order, but there's no sign of Katie, and her handbag, phone, and other essentials are nowhere to be found. None of her friends or neighbors have heard from her since the previous day, and when Katie's children wrap up for school in the afternoon, the family's fears only deepen. On their phones, Katie's children have received similar messages from their mother. At 12:18 p.m., Katie's 12-year-old daughter had received a message saying,
I love you, and I'm sorry. Ring your dad. He'll be looking after you for a while from today. I need to get help so I can be a better person for you and your brother. Please know that I love you, and I'm not upset with you. If your dad won't look after you, Andy will always have your back. Remember, ring your dad or Andy.
Katie's 14-year-old son had received a similar text.
Hey, dude, I love you and I'm sorry. You need to ring your dad. He will be looking after you from today. I need to get help. It's not you. I love you. Will you look after your sister? And know Andy will always have your back. Get your dad to come and get you while I'm gone. If he won't look after you, you get him to take you to Andy.
Both messages had come from Katie's number, but the language used and the way they were written didn't sound like Katie. And there was another thing. In each message, the word while has been misspelled without the letter H. It's a word that Katie had never misspelt before. Her family know in their guts that these messages were not written by Katie. But if not Katie, then who? Katie hasn't been the only one sending messages.
Yeah, that's quite alarming to me, because now I'm asking, who would write those messages, right? They haven't said or stated that she was dating someone. They did mention that she got a divorce and she left her children's father, but they didn't say that she was dating anyone, right? So that would be like the first thing that would come to my mind. Who would write that type of message? I would think that it would be maybe a significant other, but then also in the message, how did this person know Andy? How did this person know this particular individual, or know who's going to take the kids? How do they know that? So it gives off that whoever's making those text messages, they know her, they have some understanding of her family and her family dynamics. But let's go on.
That afternoon, her on and off boyfriend, Andrew Burfield, a 50-year-old builder and handyman, and the Andy referred to in the messages, has sent a message to Katie's son via Instagram, telling him that his mom has gone to a clinic and asked him to care for the dog Indy until she's back. Unaware that the pair had been dating again, Andrew Burfield was one person they hadn't yet contacted. By 5 p.m., Katie's sister, Sarah, had tracked down his details and got him on the phone. Burfield tells Sarah that he's been working on a building site all day and hasn't seen Katie since the previous day. He admits, however, to receiving messages from her. At 2 o'clock, Katie messaged him saying that she was going to drop her car keys, bank card, and the green slip for her car through his letterbox to cover the money that she owed him. In another message, she wrote that she had plans to go to a clinic that day to get treatment for her anxiety. One of the messages had read, "I want you to know I am truly sorry for everything." Assuming she was being dramatic, he tells Sarah that he wasn't concerned and had nothing more to tell her. For Sarah and her family, Burfield's unwillingness to help set off alarm bells. Sarah and her boyfriend Anthony drove to Andrew's house on Todmorton Road in the nearby village of Pettyham. What they were not prepared for, however, is what they discover when they pull up outside of his house. Katie's white Ford Fiesta is parked in clear view outside of Burfield's home. Through the car's windows, they can see Katie's handbag and other personal belongings abandoned in the front seat. Both Sarah and Andrew are now convinced that Katie never left town. The pair knock on the door, and when Andrew refuses to let them in, Anthony threatens to kick Burfield's door down. Burfield calls the police. When police arrive, Sarah and Anthony explain the strange messages from Katie and that her car and personal belongings have been left outside of Burfield's house. Police now want to speak to Andrew Burfield.
These guys outside, they're concerned about Katie. Do you know where she is?
Yeah. No, I don't. What's happening is that I got a text at 2:30
Today?
Yeah, saying I came to your house this morning. I'll show you a text.
From Katie?
Yeah. Right. But when I picked the kids up from school and came home, the keys down behind the door. So we came into the keys behind the door, so she's in.
Sorry, back to the item she's dropped. Do we have a time frame of when we think she'll drop those items off?
I don't mind getting up at 8:30, to school at 8:30. Came back this morning, got my keys. She told me she on a walk.
She what, sorry?
She told me she dropped
Ireland.
this morning.
Ireland, Joanne. Ireland.
Before that message came through, that's what you up to, that's what you got you up to, guys. And that were at 1:30. She put, just out on a walk. You?
Officers find Burfield friendly and relaxed. He invites them in to look around his home, joking that they're free to look in the attic as well as in his van. But a full check of the premises turns up nothing suspicious. Police immediately launch a missing persons investigation. Posters are circulated all over town with a description of Katie. A task force is assembled to comb the surrounding area around Andrew's house, her last known whereabouts. But by morning, and with still no word from Katie, her family are desperate. Their fears are compounded further when they discover that someone...
That's a little alarming to me. So her vehicle and all her personal items that was in her car was on his property. The family went, they seen her stuff there, they knocked on the door. He didn't want to answer the door for the family. And then when they called the cops, that's when he was being a more, gracious and answering their questions and whereabouts. My thing is, what time did she come with the vehicle? Because I didn't hear him state that. I mean, he was talking about her dropping off the kids and school and stuff, but he didn't say exactly when did she drop off the vehicle and what did she, when did she leave? After the vehicle was dropped off at your house, when did she leave and how did she leave? Did somebody come pick her up? Did she call a cab or a taxi? Like those things didn't, he didn't explain that. Like I didn't really hear him explain why is her vehicle with all her personal items at his property. I think that that's really weird. I hope they get into it a little bit more, but let's go on.
One has permanently disconnected her phone. Cameras outside of Burfield's house capture Katie kissing and hugging Andrew outside of his home in Pettingham on the 21st of April, the day before she went missing. The following morning at 9:20 a.m., she is once again seen parking outside of Burfield's house before getting into his silver transit van. Andrew gets in on the driver's seat beside her. The van then heads to the A670, where it briefly stops at a McDonald's drive-thru. Once again, Katie and Andrew are seen on camera sitting together in the front seat of the van before it heads off-road and into the forest of Bowland. The last image of them in the van is at 9:50 a.m. 51 minutes later, the van is seen returning. This time, though, CCTV cameras show that there is just one person in the van, Andrew Burfield. Mobile phone data from Katie's number corroborates the CCTV footage. On the morning of April 22nd, Katie's phone pings off of several towers en route to the Forest of Bowland. It then pings off the same towers 51 minutes later, heading back toward the A670. Only this time, as the CCTV footage shows, it is not Katie, but only her phone in the vehicle. Multiple messages are sent from Katie's phone before it was finally switched off from Andrew Burfield's house.
Hey, young Riaz, how are you doing? Good to see you. Good to see you. All right, so before we continue on, so that does a lot, right? The simple fact is he leaves with her. So now I know what happened, right? She left her car at his house, and I guess supposedly he was supposed to drive her to work, I think, and he took his vehicle, right? 51 minutes later, she's not with him. However, when he went out again, her cell phone is with him and not with her. That does kind of make things like, red flags, right? Why do you have her cell phone? And why did you turn off her cell phone too? But really, why do you have her cell phone but don't have her? The way how people are attached to their phones today, like people don't go nowhere out their phones. You can see people put their phone on a table when you go to the restaurant, and God forbid if someone's call or light pings on their phone, giving them a notification, and you accidentally just glimpse over. You see how quick people are quick to snatch their phones. Cell phones became a very personal item. They don't, people don't just give their phone to someone and let them hold it for the rest of the day. And it wouldn't make no sense for her to give her phone to him if she's going to work and she's going to need him to come pick her up, because that's how she got to work, was from him. So I hope they start asking that type of question. That's how it's leading to me. But him acting like he doesn't know where she was and everything like that, and she didn't call him. Well, yeah, guess what? She couldn't call you because you had her phone.
The evidence is completely at odds with everything Burfield has told them. By 3:45 p.m. on April 23rd, officers are back at Burfield's house. This time, when they enter, they're met with a wall of heat. Despite the spring temperatures outside, Burfield has lit the log burner, and the house, according to police, is like an inferno. Burfield is immediately arrested on suspicion of kidnapping and taken to the station for the first of 4 interviews.
This interview is an urgent interview to try and ascertain the whereabouts of Katie currently. Alright, I'm aware that you've requested legal representation, but at the moment we have been authorised by the superintendent to conduct this urgent interview because there is a real concern for the safety of Katie, and you will get a chance to speak to a solicitor later on. I need to caution that you do not have to say anything, but anything you do say may be given evidence, because you don't have to answer these questions. So anything you say can be used in court if it gets to that point. Alright. It's a very simple question. Can you tell me where Katie is? You don't know. So is there any clue you can give us as to where she might be?
I did give you a clue earlier on. I think she's at the rehab centre.
A rehab centre?
Some sort of clinic.
Right, okay. And then where would that be?
I have no clue.
Okay. And why do you think that she's at that location?
Because that's not our location, one of them locations, I think, because that's what she told today. That's what she wanted to do.
So that should give an indication that that's what she wants to do. But in terms of don't know where she is.
No.
I'm going to appeal to you now to let me know if you do know anything at all.
That's why I can't get it myself.
Yeah? Okay, because I'm sure you're aware that her family are feeling really concerned.
Yeah.
The last place she's known to be is popped up on your road. Yeah. Which is obviously why you're in custody. So it's reasonable for us to think that you know where she is. Alright. So please, if you do not.
I don't know.
Joe.
So like as I said, we've got concerns for Katie, your family are really concerned.
So off the bat, he's lying. You could definitely tell that he's lying. It doesn't make any sense that you want to make this push that she went to a rehab center and you don't know what rehab center she went to. Let's say that was the whole reason why you drove her, right? Early that Tuesday morning, right? On the 21st. She left her car there at your house, so she won't get a ticket depending on where she lives, right? For having her car parked out in the street, and she's not going to be able to move it. So she parked it at your house. You say, hey, yeah, I'm going to take you to this rehab center. You starting to have anxiety problems and not being able to control it. You had to drop her somewhere. You had to drop her at some building. Like, that would be like my number one question to him. If she ended up leaving, going somewhere else after he dropped her off in the morning, then, that's different. Okay, tell us, where did you drop her off in the morning? And when you came back home, it was within 51 minutes. Where did you stop and drop her off? It's crazy. It's crazy. But you could just tell that he's not being honest. He knows more than what he's leading on to. And also, I mean, I'm glad that they did get a emergency interview for him, because they still believe that Katie could be alive, and that's why they wanted to interview him early on to see if he would give them any tips and clues so they can find her as quickly as possible. This is really sad. It's really sad. What must be illegal to share? Nothing is illegal to share. The trolls is always coming in here. Yes, women don't leave their purse, keys, car, and herself. Yeah, women don't leave stuff like that. Like, those are really personal items. So, like, again, I get what he's saying. She wanted to go to a rehab center because she's dealing with anxiety. She can't control it anymore. They didn't say that she deals with any form of substance abuse, so she's not in that type of rehabilitation center, so it wouldn't be no need for her to have to leave all her personal belongings. But then again, where did you drop her off at when she got in your car at 9 o'clock in the morning and you was able to return back to your home 51 minutes later? Where did you drop her off at? And why did you have her cell phone? I would ask her those questions, or him those questions. Hey, Lord, how you doing? Good to see you. Good to see you. Hope you're having a good Thursday. But let's go on.
Matter, from our perspective, this ability to characterificate it. Is there anything that you
Thank you, Young. I appreciate you.
That we've already said, your sisters to have a more careful tonight, make sure she's on the phone.
It's a lot of people. I did say to the officers earlier, I mean, they left. I wouldn't have tea sorted out with kids. I didn't think they ended up anywhere else. But I said, look, I'll go there and I'll write everything down. And I'll always used to ask me stuff when you were going through my phone. So I said, what happened? I don't know. Not on script. So that's what I was intending to do tonight.
Where is the last location that you know that she was?
My house.
Right, so you know she was at your house?
Yes.
Okay, and when was that?
It was at 9:20. Yes, the evening.
Okay. So since then you don't know the whereabouts?
I don't know where she's not now.
Alright then, Kevin needs to give you that opportunity, if you didn't know, just tell us.
I'm being arrested for kidnapping. She will need to be headed down or something.
Well, yeah.
See, that's not the case.
She obviously could be in any state, but we want to do everything we can to locate. No?
No.
Alright, okay. I don't have any more questions, George.
Lancashire police launch a massive search effort in hopes of finding Katie alive and well, but the job ahead of them is daunting. The Forest of Bowland is an area of dense woodland with a radius of approximately 25 miles. 60 specialist officers from 4 police forces are assigned to the investigation, making it one of the largest ever missing person searches in the area's history. Among the search force are police and fire service officers, cadaver dogs, the mounted police, the mountain rescue volunteers, air support with heat source cameras, drones, and underwater search teams. But even with those vast resources, finding Katie in this woodland would be like finding a needle in a haystack. But then a witness comes forward who will change everything. At around 9:30 a.m. on the morning of April the 22nd, a member of the public spotted a silver Ford Transit van parked in an area in the Forest of Bowland called Gisborne Forest. The witness describes the van as having a distinctive black panel on one side, the same as Burfield's vehicle. Convinced that this was Burfield's van, police narrow the search to the area of a 5-mile radius leading out from the parking spot. During a second interview with police, Burfield admits to officers that he did in fact go to Gisborne Forest with Katie that day. He says that Katie had made a habit out of writing down all of her thoughts in a journal and then burning the entries as a way of ridding herself of the problems. They planned a picnic, and one of the goals was for Katie to burn her journal entries. No one buys this explanation. As the search continues, Katie's sister Sarah posts on Facebook, "It's now a waiting game." But while the waiting is an agony for Katie,
So already he has proven himself to be a liar. And let's just be perfectly clear, right? This is her off and on boyfriend. He doesn't seem nowhere near concerned as her family has defined this woman. This is your off and on girlfriend. You are taking care of her children while she's missing, and you don't even seem like you're really concerned that she's actually missing. And that kind of threw me through a loop too. Like, this is not the way how you act for someone who is you consider as a loved one. You're going to be concerned, you're going to be out there, you're going to be making calls. And then you already lied and said that you didn't have no whereabouts of her outside of when she came to your home. But the police know by looking at the CCTV that she left with you at 9:00 in the morning and got in your vehicle. They also seen that you came back 51 minutes later to your home and there was no Katie in sight. They also pinned her cell phone being with you instead of actually being with her. And then now, when they bring up that a witness said, "Hey, we seen this van at this particular forest at this time during the time that she quote unquote went missing, the day that she went missing." Now you want to say, "Oh, yeah, we did go to the forest and I was just sitting there letting her write in her journal, and then we was just gonna burn it as a symbolism of letting go all the things that is bothering us, in our life, and we're gonna just burn it." And like, come on now, like seriously, dude, like that's just crazy. Not Laura said that's a good looking van. No, it looked like it was a nice van. I ain't gonna front. Yeah, his effect is off. Yeah, it really is. It really, really is. But there's no way y'all really drove that far away from your home just for her to write in her journal and burn it and make a pit so she can burn it. You could have did that where you live on your property. Let's go on.
Katie's family, one thing is certain, and that is who is responsible for Katie's disappearance. And her family have long had their reservations about Andrew Burfield. When Katie ran into Burfield in 2019, she was at a particularly vulnerable point in her life. At 50 years old, Burfield seemed stable and to have his life together. Like Katie, he was a single parent of 2. He was supportive and understanding of her struggles. But it wasn't long before her family noticed some concerning signs. Andrew was controlling, and soon Katie was changing her behavior just to keep Burfield happy. They had also begun to fight regularly. Her family noticed that when Katie would express her feelings, Burfield would tell her that it was her anxiety distorting her thinking. Soon it was clear that he was using her mental health as a weapon to manipulate and control her with. Of course, those who knew Burfield years before Katie were already well acquainted with this side of his character. Burfield had long held a reputation for being a fantasist, a pathological liar, and a manipulator. Over the years, he had numerous run-ins with the law. In 2001, he had been jailed for attempting to pervert the course of justice after stealing a car belonging to his boss and selling it for £2,700, then convincing a former girlfriend to provide him with a false alibi. He was also a compulsive womanizer. Records from his computer showed that he was propositioning women on every forum available, from Facebook to dating sites. Andrew Burfield was not the kind of man you would welcome into your family. But Katie's family hadn't known the real Burfield. What they did know was that he liked to repeatedly remind Katie that she was mentally ill, then increase her dependence on him by offering to pay for therapy. Katie accepted his money for therapy in good faith, but by 2021 their fights had escalated to the point where the pair had gone their separate ways. Katie told her family that she hopes for a fresh start. Burfield, on the other hand, had not.
Miss Jalen said background checks is important. Absolutely. I mean, in this day and age, do a background check. But I'm going to tell you something like this. You could do a background check and you still will not be prepared for what a person might have in store for you if you get in a relationship with them. There's a lot of people who don't get caught on paper, who don't get caught with a record for the things that they do. And that's not going to show up on the background check, right? But then now you're dealing with things about their character and personality that you didn't know because they don't have a record on that about them doing that. Like the background check only shows you the things that they actually got caught for, not the things that they did not get caught for. And a lot of that is just learning experience. That's a part of the learning the curve when you experience certain things about certain people. But yes, please get background checks. Definitely. Right. Yeah. They do be seeking you. Absolutely. Absolutely. Oh, Lord. Come on, Lord. Come on. Let's see. A man, what is it? A manizer is a female person who behaves like, well, you know what? You're absolutely right. Well, there is a lot of, I wouldn't say there's a lot. There is a group of women who have took on some of the traits or the poor traits or bad traits that some men perform in relationships with with people. They take it on as those same traits too. So I agree. Those they don't get talked about often either.
Taken the breakup so well. One morning, Katie discovered that her Ford Fiesta had been vandalized and the tires slashed. While she never told anyone that she believed the culprit to be Andrew, she never reported the crime to police. Then, on February 18th of 2022, she received a high court writ ordering that she owed £4,000 to Andrew Burfield for therapy fees. It was money she did not have, and as the deadline came and went, the overdue fees mounted up. Soon she owed over £6,000. Unable to pay the money, her anxiety went into overdrive. She feared losing her precious home that she had created for her children and that debt collectors would take all of her possessions. Katie took to labeling Burfield the Tinder swindler to friends and family, and it wasn't just the money that worried her. Something in Katie feared what Burfield was capable of. In one message to her mother, Dawn, she wrote that she was scared of him. Dawn remembers another message from Katie that said, "I'm paranoid to death he's going to do something. I couldn't sleep all night." Katie also told her sister that if she ever went missing, it would be Burfield who had done something to her. In March of 2022, however, Andrew seemed to suddenly have a change of heart. He told Katie that he would pay the overdue fees and ensure the bailiffs that they would no longer bother her. On March the 8th, Katie emailed the debt company explaining this and that Burfield was going to pay the balance. He also begged for forgiveness. In a moment of weakness, Katie relented and the pair reconciled. Meanwhile, on March the 9th, the day after telling Katie he would pay her overdue fees, Burfield had contacted the debt collectors demanding that they put more pressure on Katie. Burfield was deliberately toying with her, pulling strings to increase the pressure on her, thereby forcing her to cooperate with him as her only way out. On March the 25th, he rang the debt collectors again, this time saying that Katie had come to his house and abused him. He demanded that they force her to pay up. When Katie messaged him in a panic, he assured her that she was overreacting and in the meantime to think about going into a mental health clinic. "I'm thinking we need to get you back on the right path, Babs," he wrote. But investigators are about to learn more about the movements of Andrew Burfield in the days before and after Katie's disappearance. The homeowner of a property on Hillingdon Road in Burnley told police that on Saturday morning after Katie
Like, that is insane. That is really insane. The way how he was manipulating her was truly, truly disgusting and toxic and crazy. You are literally calling the debt collectors, telling them y'all need to hurry up and get her to pay and say that she only got a couple of days and stuff like that. And then you forced her to the point to come to you to ask for help and assistance. And you did that because she was getting sick of your stuff. She was starting to see that you was manipulating her and she was starting to detach from you. And then you begged, please, baby, please. I just want you to be okay. I just want to help you and all the stuff like that. And you're secretly in the cut calling, creating more stress and anxiety for this woman. So just think about how diabolical that is, right? You know this woman is suffering from anxiety, stress, and you purposely add on more stress to her so you can get her to maneuver her way, or do what you want her to do. That's a different type of evil. I swear to God, like, seriously, that's just disgusting. Absolutely, purely disgusting. No lows, huh? No lows. Mary said this guy thinks he's the smartest one in any room he walks into. Yeah. Let's go on. Let's see what else they have to say about this new neighbor.
went missing, Burfield had unexpectedly turned up at around 8 a.m. According to the homeowner, Burfield asked him what day his bins were collected on the street. That struck him as odd. Officers immediately drive to the property and find the bins are still full. Buried under household trash, they find a plastic bag smeared with blood. Inside, it contains a pair of blood-stained flip-flops matching the description of those Katie had been wearing, and several heavily blood-stained bags. Police now changed the investigation from that of a missing persons inquiry to a murder investigation.
Ireland, Miss Jalen, they live
as
in Ireland.
a kidnapper missing person inquiry on Friday. Yesterday, it dramatically changed to a murder hunt when the police charged their suspect, rearrested their suspect on suspicion of murder. This evening, they have announced that he has now been charged with Katie Kenyon's murder. We got a brief statement from Lancashire Police. It says Andrew Burfield, 50, of Todmorden Road, Burnley, has been charged with Katie Kenyon's murder. He's due to appear at Blackburn Magistrates Court at 10 a.m. tomorrow. Katie's family have been made aware, obviously, by the police. She's still being supported by trained family. They're being supported by trained family liaison officers. This is Gisborne Forest, half an hour, 35 minutes or so away from where she was taken in this silver transit van that the police located here. They know that she left Burnley. They know that it was here in that van and was then back in Burnley.
Her devastated family grapple with this horrifying new development. While the police fast-track the testing of the blood traces with forensics, Burfield volunteers for another interview with the police. He admits to the police that the pair had gone to the forest that day, a place where they had been twice before. After setting up their picnic, Katie had spotted an axe on top of a cooler box and had made a bet with Burfield that he couldn't throw the axe accurately enough to knock a Coke can out of her hand. He went for a tree instead and threw the axe with both arms overhead. At the same time, Katie had begun sitting down. He watched in horror as it flew directly towards Katie before hitting her in the back of the head.
I believe that you want to speak to us today, so I'm just going to hand it over to you to tell us what you want to say.
We parked the van up and we went to our site, which we always go to. I said,
Hold on. Let me get this straight. They go to their little special place and they found the axe that was there. They decided to, swing axe at trees and stuff like that, ease off, stress or whatever. And you mean to tell me that she's the one who said, hey, I bet you can't hit this beer or whatever cup out of my hand with an axe? That doesn't make no sense to me. I asked, why would she want you to fling your axe at her and hit her cup that's in her hand? It doesn't make any sense. And then it also doesn't make any sense that she got hit in the back of the head with the axe if she was supposed to be facing you. If you were supposedly supposed to be playing this game. Like, guy is lying all the way through and through. Now all of a sudden it's supposedly a accident. That's not no accident. You hit her in the back of her head, and that means she didn't know it was coming. She didn't know that it was coming. There's no way that she would think that you was going to hit her in the back of the head with the axe. That's not even how you play the game. Like, I have seen people play the game with the darts, right? Even with the darts, or you see it in examples in movies with the bow and arrow. The person is always actually facing you when you're doing that, right? That's where that whole sense of trust is supposed to kick in. Oh, can you knock this off my head and stuff like that? Nobody is turned backwards playing those type of games. Nobody. It's really sad that to even do that to that poor woman. That's a very gruesome death, really.
Always with twice.
Right.
And that's where she still is.
That's where she still is. Okay. So we don't know what went wrong. You were aiming at the tree and...
No, I can't even say a slip, belt, like nothing. I just don't even know what went wrong. It's just stupid, isn't it? That I'll ever do that. It's so stupid.
How close was she from you?
8 feet, I think. There's no help there, there's nothing.
No.
No people. There was signal on her phone that won't carry her. Track her. So if a boyfriend can't carry you, won't girlfriend.
So talk me through these next seconds then.
What do you mean?
This has happened now.
I just don't know what I'm doing, honestly. I don't. I'm hoping to go to her straight away.
Then he'd panicked. Unable to carry her body to his van, he decided to leave her in the forest. Not wanting animals to find her, he dug a grave and placed her in it, covering it with leaves and sticks. Then he had tied a bag to a tree to mark the spot. His plan at this point, he said, was to get home, deal with his children, get his finances in order, and then take his own life. He also said that, in a panic, he'd burned Katie's phone in a log burner and dumped the charred remains into a nearby bin before moving his own SIM card to a new phone. Only the police are not buying this story.
Thing is, Andrew, you've told us a lot over the last few days, haven't you? And you've told us a lot, certainly today, a lot of information. And a lot of it just does not add up.
Yeah, he's a psychopath. He is. He is definitely a psychopath. You could look in his eyes. He had every intentions of doing that to Katie. He did. He had every intentions of doing that because none of that makes sense. None of it makes sense at all. If you was going to, quote unquote, take your life, you would have took your life right then and there in the forest with her. How do you think that you was going, like, where in your mind was, oh snap, I made a mistake and hit my girlfriend with an axe. I think maybe we should call 911 because we both have cell phones. She can't use her cell phone, or I have my cell phone, or if my cell phone's not working because it's not hitting the Wi-Fi or hitting the network, her cell phone is working. There was no attempt to even try to save this woman. So that's why it doesn't show that it was an accident. You literally hit this woman in the back of the head with an axe. Like, you cannot get that deliberate than that, right? Unless you wanted to like smack her right in the face with an axe right in the face, right? Like, but you waited until she turned around and you did that. Then you had all intentions of hiding the body. You talk about, oh, I was going to go end my life. You wasn't going to end your life. You went and took your kids to school, act like it was a regular day. You shut off her phone. You dumped her clothes and stuff like that in, I guess, not too far away from your house, but definitely not in the vicinity. Like, you did everything to cover your tracks. And for you to say that you did this out of, scare and you wanted to get your finance in order, boy, bye. Boy, bye. Absolutely. No. He still, you can even tell by how he's talking that he doesn't feel bad for unaliving his girlfriend. This is the first time that he's even trying to give fake emotions, that he feels so bad about what he has done. And he can't even act correctly. It's sad. This is sickening. Wow.
Okay. And ultimately, we don't believe you of what you've said. Okay. But do not believe that this has been an accident. This is about your control and your over Katie.
Homicide investigators search Burfield's van and house again for evidence. This time, they find blood inside Andrew Burfield's washing machine. Without a body, though, they are somewhat helpless to prove that it was anything but an accident. But a forensic examination of Burfield's phone will shed more light on the extent of Burfield's twisted mind. Burfield's iPhone had last been backed up to the iCloud on April the 4th. An examination of its contents revealed that despite all of Burfield's recent proclamations of love for Katie, he had begun secretly seeing another woman. In messages exchanged between the pair, Burfield tells the woman that he owns a portfolio of properties around the country. They chat about potentially moving to Scotland together and buying a house. Meanwhile, on the day prior to Katie's disappearance, Burfield drove to his parents' house after requesting to borrow a spade. He had then switched off his phone for 90 minutes, turning it on again at 10:03 p.m., not long after his van was caught on CCTV footage returning from Gisborne Forest. The next morning, the morning of April the 22nd, he and Katie messaged back and forth again. Katie had sent Andrew a message saying that she was ready for the picnic and excited for a new chapter. Burfield confirmed that he would drive her to a special unit where she could finally get help. But the phone data revealed that Burfield had not taken his phone with him to the forest that day. At 9:07 a.m., Katie had made her last phone call. Between 10:24 and 11:15 a.m., her phone had stopped connecting with the local mobile network. At 12:18, the first of a series of strange messages had been sent from Katie's phone telling her family that she was going away. At 12:34 p.m., Burfield sent a message from his own phone to the woman he had been dating, saying that something had come up involving his children and that he would be unable to make their date as planned. He'd then sent messages from Katie's phone to her children and mother. He had also messaged himself from Katie's phone and repeatedly messaged her back asking if she was okay and to call him. He'd also left her voicemails.
It doesn't have to be like this. We can sort it out. Whatever help you need, whatever you need from me, or anybody else. I just need to know you're safe and where you're going, that's all. What do you want me to do? Go and get the dog today? Tonight? Kids ringing me? I don't. Just let me know what's happening. I ain't got a clue. Please. I love you.
That evening, he messaged the woman he had been dating again, saying that he was properly knackered. But police are about to discover the worst was yet to come. Saved on the phone's notes application, they find a series of long, drafted messages. The messages had been written by Burfield and edited and amended multiple times since. The final versions were almost word-for-word identical to the messages he sent to Katie's mother and children. But the most chilling part, the original had been written on March the 17th, many weeks before Burfield took Katie to the forest. He had been planning her murder for over a month. In a third interview, and not knowing the extent of evidence against him, Burfield admits to police that he went to the forest the day before April 22nd. He tells police that it was to walk his dog, then says that it looked like a good spot for a picnic that he had planned with Katie the following day. Meanwhile, using the new information from Burfield's confession, the specialist search team located a bag tied to a tree, but they could find no sign of a grave or burial site. At a loss, they take the risky step of enlisting Burfield's help to find the burial site. Dressed in a forensic suit and handcuffed, Burfield is escorted by officers and his solicitor to an area around 70 meters from the place where his van had been seen parked in Gisborne Forest. There, he sits down on a spot just meters from where the police had already been digging. Police take a closer look at the area indicated by Burfield. The spot where Burfield is sitting is in a densely wooded area where the grass and foliage are undisturbed. There is no mound of earth or anything resembling a hastily dug grave.
But as much as we were hopeful we found her, there was a couple of things that were unusual as well, weren't it, about that grave? In terms of unusual, like, for example, if you had to place a body inside a grave, the void, the size of one of us inside a grave, you would expect to create a mound subsequently. You wouldn't have a perfectly flat surface. This had a perfectly flat surface. It was finished impeccably.
Despite their misgivings, an excavation is begun. As the topsoil is removed, a root network from a nearby tree is exposed, baffling police even further. And yet, several feet into the excavation, human remains are discovered. The search for Katie Kenyon has come to a devastating end.
I want to bring you some breaking news now coming to us from Lancashire. Police, in connection with the search for missing Katie Kenyon, 33-year-old mother of two, the police say they have sadly found the body of a woman. The discovery was made last night in an area as part of the Forest of Bowland after receiving new information. And at this stage, they say they're not in a position to formally confirm the woman's identity, but they do believe that the body is that of Katie. Her family have been told, and they continue to be supported by specially trained officers. So a body has been found in the search for missing Katie Kenyon. Andrew Burfield, who's 50 and of Burnley, has been charged with her murder.
How had he managed to disguise the body so well?
Like, that's just truly disturbing. This guy had been literally planning and plotting to execute her for a whole month. For a whole month. Like, that is very disturbing. You sat there and you used your notes in your phone to conjure up almost over 50 times how to frame messages and what messages to send to who at what time. You went and even went as far as had your own dialogue with yourself on a voicemail to try to make it seem like you was concerned about her or anything like that. Like, that, I don't understand. I don't think people understand like how weird and crazy that is, right? Like, that's really, really weird and crazy. You're sitting up there having a full-blown conversation with yourself to hide the fact that you got rid of this woman. And then you really want the detectives believe that this was all an accident. I don't know. I think going forward, if somebody asks you to go on a picnic, don't go on no picnic with them. If you knew the real history of the picnic, you wouldn't want to go on no doggone picnic. Anybody saying you want to go on a picnic? No. Say no, I ain't going on no picnic with you. You want to go to a gathering? Okay, cool. You want to go to a get together? Sure. Want to go to a cookout? Excellent. Don't go on no picnics. Okay. If you actually know the history of picnics, you wouldn't go on no picnics. I'll tell you that much. She said, how did he benefit from her passing? It doesn't necessarily, to me, it wasn't a real about benefit. It was about the fact that he wanted to control her to the bitter end until he didn't have no use of her or had no access to her. They said that he was a womanizer. So he was already talking and speaking with another woman and having another relationship with another woman while he was with Katie, this off and on situation. But he did have a fun or a kink of controlling her, manipulating her due to the fact that she was dealing with anxiety and stress, not knowing that a lot of her anxiety and stress was because of the things that he were doing. She didn't even know that he's the one that's calling debt collectors and telling them to pounce on her, telling her that she owes this much and she needs to pay as soon as possible, or we're going to take your car, we're going to take your home, or whatever not. She didn't even know that half of the stressors that she was experiencing was because of him. She didn't know that. It's crazy. Crazy, 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 crazy. Ms. Jalen said, MJ, now you understand why. Yeah, it is dangerous. A very dangerous. Yeah, say no to picnics. No going no picnics. Don't go on no picnics. No picnics. You knew the real history about picnics, you wouldn't want to go on no picnic. Go to a gathering, go to a meetup. Hey, even go to a bonfire, right? Don't go to no picnics, okay? Go to a cookout. Don't go to picnics. No picnics. Yes, I got picnic trauma. Picnic trauma. Nope. Absolutely not. A lot of things have not gone well with picnics, okay? So no. No, I ain't going on no picnic, Robert. I ain't going on no picnic. I ain't going on no picnic with you, Robert. I can't do it. No. Let's go on.
When digging the grave, Burfield had meticulously removed each layer, placing a layer of turf, then topsoil, then clay beside the grave, before replacing them in the exact same order, all without severing any of the roots that ran through the burial site. An archaeologist and a forensic botanist said it would have been impossible for Burfield to dig the grave in the time he was known to be in the forest with Katie. This was a grave that had taken time and meticulous planning. The forensic team also found prints from 2 different sets of footwear around the burial site, suggesting that the grave had been dug on different days. Meanwhile, the results from Katie's post-mortem revealed a very different story to the one Burfield had told police. Katie had been hit not once, but 12 times in the head. A pathologist described Katie as having suffered severe head injuries with multiple fractures caused by a heavy weapon, such as an axe or a spade. Katie's funeral service was held in May of 2022. Mourners followed a horse-drawn carriage carrying her coffin as her family and loved.
This man is so diabolical, like Jesus, right? So not only did he plan her murder a month in advance, he even had somebody out there to help him strategically make a big enough hole for a body and that it can be properly sealed and look like it did not disrupt the earth when the time comes when he wanted to place the body in there. That's crazy. Then on top of that, he said, "Oh, I accidentally hit her in the head with the axe because we were playing the game of throwing the axe on the tree." No, you actually hit her in the head with the axe, not once, but 12 times. 12 times. That ain't no accident. So I knew that he was lying, but just to even hear how vile and cruel and evil that the extra things that he did to this poor lady is absurd. It's really absurd. You hit her in the head with an axe 12 times. What is going on here? Like, this is really sad, man. Really sad. As said, these men ain't romantic. They ain't playing no picnic. Yes, it was pre-Doug, Kimberly. Yes, it was. 12 times. 12 times. No accident. That was deliberate. Deliberate, like, I hate you. Deliberate. Joanne said, I don't think I'll even enjoy a get-together ever again. Oh, no, Miss Joanne. You have to have enjoyed some good things, right? Get-togethers are good. They have their problems, but they're good, Let's see. Ha, yeah, you did make me laugh a little bit. No picnics. No picnics. Absolutely not. No picnics. All right, let's finish this out. She had a beautiful casket. It was very beautiful. Very nice. Good, good send home.
Loved ones gathered to pay their respects. Her family tell mourners that their beloved daughter, sister, and mother had been taken from their family too soon, and they felt stuck in a heartbreaking nightmare. Andrew Burfield's trial begins on November the 14th, 2022. He enters a plea of not guilty. The trial is expected to last roughly 3 weeks. The prosecution lays out their case, including the results of the coroner's report. For many weeks, Burfield had, they say, ensured Katie was beholden to him by promising to pay the money she owed, all while increasing the pressure on her so that he could enact his murderous plan that he had hatched weeks earlier. In the face of overwhelming evidence against him, on the third day of his trial, Andrew Burfield dramatically changed his plea to guilty in the murder of Katie Kenyon. He is sentenced to life in prison with a minimum term of 32 years to be served. There is no logical reason for Burfield's action and no why. Burfield seemed to simply take pleasure in the control and torture of the women he had encountered, and, unable to control Katie, took the decision to plot her murder instead, ending the life of a loving young mom and tearing apart a family.
So asked me to personally thank every person who's been involved in the case to bring Katie's killer to justice. They also think it's important to express who Katie was, and the family have given me a few words that I'm now going to read on their behalf. Katie's a happy, loving mum of 2. She had a whole life ahead of her. Katie was beautiful and silly. She had a truly beautiful soul. She always surrounded herself with children, her own and anybody else's who wanted to join in. She would take kids and the dogs everywhere with her. She'd even try to set up summer camp for the local children, so they had something to do and somewhere to go. She loved the outdoors and she loved people. We miss her. We miss her very much beyond words, and we will never get to express our loss.
If you found this story compelling,
That was really sad. That was a terrible way to go. And there was no motive. As y'all seen, there wasn't no motive. The only motive is that he lived a life where he likes to control and manipulate women. And he also likes to I guess prey on women when they're in vulnerable situations. She was dealing with anxiety and stress as being a newly divorced single mother, right? And he took advantage of that. And then when it came down to him luring her with the "I will pay for your medical bills" or any help or medical help that you need to get over your anxiety or at least get it under control, I'm going to pay for it. That's what kept her there. That latch of support, and that he really wanted to support her. They also said that in their toxic relationship, he would manipulate her by saying the things that he would do or say to her is she's over exaggerating, and that is your anxiety that's making you believe that or do that. Like, he would blame it on her mental issues as into why she's not understanding what he wants to do and why he's correct, right? That was the manipulation tactic that he was using. The point is that he literally just he had no he had no real motive except that he felt that he was supposed to control her, and he was not thinking about him not being able to control her not her getting well, getting help, and detaching herself from him. He wasn't going to be able to deal with the fact that she would get healthy, get better, and move on, and somebody else, someone worthy of her, would be in her life. He couldn't accept that. So once he realized that he was losing control, he decided that, look, if you ain't gonna be with me, you ain't gonna be with no one else. And that's exactly what he did. It's terrible. It's a terrible, terrible situation. Prayers to that family. Prayers to the children that lost their mom senselessly. And the bad thing about it is, prayers to his children, right? Because now they don't got no father either. And he was a single dad. So, I hope those kids went back to their mother or of other family members that's going to take them on and help them. But it just messed up all around. It really is. All right. So I have another case for you guys. Please hit the like button for me. It truly helps the channel. It helps get me back in the algorithm. Please share this out to anyone who likes to review these type of cases. And please, if you have a case that you are interested in and you would like me to review it on a later date, just put it in the comment and I will write it in my little trusty notebook and, we'll watch it going forward. Okay? So here we go. The next case I have for you guys is about a woman. She looks like she's about maybe in her early 30s. Her name is Liana. She unalived her significant other. So this is another domestic violence situation. However, is on the other side, right? Because I like to be fair. We have it on both sides. So Liana doesn't realize that the cops probably know exactly what she did, even though she tried to frame it as self-defense. It wasn't self-defense. And we're going to take a look at her interrogation and what she says. Okay, so make sure you hit the like button for me. Truly appreciate it. All right, here we go.
This is 21-year-old Liana Maria. Liana has just been arrested after her parents called the police, claiming she told them that she just killed her boyfriend because he had been playing his music too loudly.
So I heard a little bit about something that had gone on, but I don't really know all the facts yet, so that's kind of why I wanted to talk to you. I see you got handcuffs on, and I know we're in a jail, so that changes things a little bit for me, only that I have to read you some things before we can talk. So having these rights in mind, do you wish to talk to me now?
I mean, I want to hear what was said.
There is a movie. That is a movie.
Okay. Well, the only thing that's been said is what your parents said. And I know that a lot of what they said came from you, but obviously you're the best source of information.
Okay.
So that's why I wanted to talk to you after either me or my partners talk to your parents. Does that make sense?
Mm.
I kind of want to hear it right from the horse's mouth, as they say. Get it right from the source.
After reading Liana her rights, the detectives ask her about the previous night.
Yeah, that's
what
when
happened
they need that flower. I don't think it was because his music was too loud.
Basically, he just got really violent. I think he was on some type of drug. He was sitting down on a couch, and he charged at me. After I threw some water in his face.
Why?
Because he called me out my name and kept on turning on stuff and just he knew stuff that was getting under my skin, basically. So anyway, I throw a little bit of water in his face and he stands up and that's when he just loses everything. He just charges at me. He starts pulling my hair. My head is all the way down here. And I start trying to fight him back. And it was the couch is right here. And the door is right here. And there's a bed right next to it. So it started initially from the couch. He charged at me. I landed on the bed, hit my head. And then he started to choke me out, and that's when I started fighting him back, trying to push him. So I pushed him successfully, to the door, and he was reaching for the chain, trying to say I was hurting him. And I was like, what do you mean I'm hurting you? What do you mean? So just basically, just after that, he just went ham, and I blacked out. And
all right, I'm gonna just have to stop it there. Number one, she's not a really good liar, right? And also, you explained to the detectives that you started it. You was the instigator of the situation. Apparently, he was playing music, and you was getting fed up with the music, whatever. Now you told him to turn it down or turn it off. He called you out your name. He called you a bitch, whatever. Excuse my language, but that's what it was. He called you out your name. You threw water on him, and then you said that from there you stood up. He stood up, like you went, and then he put his hands on you. My thing is, you threw water on him. If that was the case, and if that's your house, and he doesn't want to listen, and he's calling you out your name, how about you say, okay, I'm going to call the cops, and I'm going to have them escort you out right now, and so be it. Especially if his name is not on the lease, especially if that's not his home either. But even in that, you threw water on him, okay? You threw water on him, and then I don't understand, because I didn't hear her say that he grabbed her up and pushed her into the room, you know what I'm saying, and then did all that stuff. That's not what she said. She said that she threw water on him, and then she stood up. He stood up. I guess he started getting even more in her face, whatever not. And then she pushing him out of his face. And then he grabs her, and then I guess he pushed her and she fell, whatever not. Then she got back up, and then she pushed him successfully. She said her whole mouth, she pushed him in some chain or something like that. It's just what I'm just saying is that you was the instigator. You threw water on him. I know it's water, it's not acid. I get it, but still. You was ready to get a physical altercation with him. You were ready for that. And she doesn't understand that that's what she's telling them. And then she's saying, "Oh, like I hurt you. Like, ma'am, I understand men are stronger than us, but men do get hurt, right? There's things that we can do that can hurt them. You know what I'm saying? They might not be, you might not be able to knock them out the way how they can knock you out, and you can like lose your breath, but you can still hurt a person, especially if you're using a weapon or an item or any type of tool. So for her to even act like there's nothing that she could possibly do to hurt this man, but then this man is not alive, it doesn't help you. It doesn't help your story. And also, it wasn't self-defense. Like her whole claim of self-defense is not there. It's not there at all. But let's go on. Let's see what else she has to say.
I couldn't breathe. I had I choked like really fucking hard. Like I could feel like spit in the back of my throat. Like when he used both hands. Like, so it just made me freak out. Like, and then eventually he just stopped breathing.
After hearing a brief description of what had happened the night before, the detectives want to know more about her boyfriend. Their goal is to see if Liana really defended herself by trying to understand who her boyfriend was. They will then go back and get more information from Liana regarding exactly what took place the previous night.
Who's he?
I met him, I want to say, McDonald's. I was working as a cashier there for like a couple months ago. And he came through the drive-thru and he ordered like a Big Mac or something. And I gave him my number, like on Rebecca receipt. And like we'd basically been hanging out and stuff. He always like would like admit these feelings to me and stuff, and I'd be like, just trying to be friends, and stuff like that. And he just really just like over time you would see how he would just change. I don't know how to like describe it, but it's like he went from sweet to like sociopath. Like he just wanted me around him, and I was just staying there so that I could just like have a place to stay for my job and like kick it, hang out with him. He's like a lonely guy, so.
Wait, hold on. Chick, that ain't even your house. That was his house? Get the fuck out of here. Excuse my language. Really? So you gonna tell this man in his house who you just admitted that you needed a place to stay. So you was using bruh, right? You was using him for a place to stay, okay? You mean to tell me that you want to fight this man about what he plays in his house? And then have the audacity to throw water in his fuck? Yo, girl, let's go on. I'm upset. Girl, bye. Okay.
I was just like hanging out with him, and and he just got crazier and crazier. And then I noticed, like, particularly within the past 3 days of hanging out with him, that he would do like this with his nose, like this, like just like he was off some type of drug. And he told me about like this scamming stuff and like promethazine and fake doctors and just like getting prescriptions that he didn't need. So I don't know if it was a pill or if it was like a promethazine type thing or...
Liana explains that her boyfriend had a tendency to use prescription drugs not prescribed by a doctor. She needs the detectives to believe that her boyfriend was unhinged and she was really afraid of him.
Do you know anything about him, like why he's in Kalamazoo or what he does here?
He was like telling me like how he was doing like some kind of like he was trying to like provide for his family and stuff like that, but he was like scamming like and using fake IDs and stuff, and he always wanted me to like join in on it, but I would just be like no, like, and I feel like gradually over time he would get mad at me because like sometimes like I feel like he thought I was using him or like something like that. So like even when I like asked him to go get some like Dollar Tree cleaning supplies and stuff, like he would like get an attitude and I'd just be cleaning the house or cooking for him and stuff, and I don't know, it was just like I don't understand why that was a problem.
Ma'am, you just admitted earlier before you telling the story that you needed a place to stay. You just admitted that. So you admitted that you was using this man. This is why they wanted to get an understanding of this guy's character, right? This is why they're asking you certain things about this, how this guy was. So, he let you stay with him. Y'all had a little thing going on. You said that he was trying to provide for his kids and stuff. You said that you was cooking and cleaning and stuff. But, he was probably asking you like, hey, can you contribute a little bit more, or can you, help me with this business? But now you're trying to say that he was a scammer. Like, I don't understand. So again, like if you knew he was a scammer, or if you didn't agree with how he got money, that wasn't a problem for you until this situation, right? You were laying up in his house enjoying that though, right? Like this is where the problem lies. Because if you did not mess with how his livelihood or what he does to take care of himself, get that household or his family, then you shouldn't have moved in with him. And then I don't understand either. You had a job. You was working at McDonald's. He came through the drive-thru and asked you for, your number. Why do you don't have a place to stay, lady? Where is your place to stay? You moving in with strangers now? There's a lot about her story that is it's not really adding up. It's not really adding up. I'm not trying to say that there wasn't a possibility that things didn't get rough in that house. It could have, but what she said initially, I just can't go by that. She said that she threw water on him. So it seems like she has initiated more than once going toe to toe or getting into a physical altercation with him when she doesn't get her way, or if she doesn't like what something happens or something. She admitted that. So I just can't like push that to the side. That even with that whole situation in the beginning, you started it. Yeah. I mean, she is young in this on this one, Southern. They said that she's like 20, 21, 22. So she's a young lady to me. She's definitely a young lady with me. Let's see. Wes said that she's scamming too. Yeah. IQ of 40. Yeah, I don't know. No. She was living with her parents but wanted to turn up at his place. That could be a possibility. That could be a possibility. I'm not even gonna put it past it, really. She's not very smart. No, she's not. And also with the whole like, we all know when we say like, and those are filler words. I do want to also reference that she does have a water bottle in her hand while she's speaking to these detectives. And when people are lying, they tend to get dry mouth. And so they usually take sips while they're having these interrogations. And then on top of that, that little sip of water here and there allows them to create some time or some space between questions so they can actually say something that is very believable to them, per se. But let's go on. Let's hear what else she has to say.
Okay. So were you guys like dating?
No. The furthest thing that I allowed from him was like just a kiss on the cheek. We were not like dating or together. So.
Did he want it to be that? Did he want to have a romantic relationship with you?
I feel like in his head he thought he could have a relationship with me or like potentially be with me, but like every time he like tried to lay under me and like get on the bed with me and stuff, like I don't know, like he'll like start touching my thigh and stuff, and I'll just be like, yo, you need to back.
All right, so wait a minute. Here we go again. So you telling me that you weren't in a relationship with him. He thought that he was going to get in a relationship with you, right? You said that you wasn't doing anything intimate with him. So what I'm gathering is you was a damn roommate, right? You was a roommate. So if he was complaining about you just washing dishes, cleaning up in the house and stuff like that, you had to contribute more than just doing that because you're not in a relationship with him, right? So if you needed a place to stay, you're supposed to be paying roommate money, right? That means you need to come off and find a way to help pay for the rent. That is not that's not unreasonable. If according to you, y'all not in a relationship. You ain't his girl. Y'all not smashing. Y'all are roommates. You needed help. He allowed you to come stay in his house, but you gotta pay your way as a roommate. And that doesn't mean you have to do it sexually. No. We know there's some women who do that, but that's not the case. I'm not understanding this. Like, so what was the problem or the issue with him playing his music in his house that he paid for? And apparently you saying that you wasn't even paying nothing. You wasn't paying no rent. You thought you cleaning up the house and mopping the floors and washing dishes was good enough. Like I'm not understanding. My head is hurting just a little bit. Because I thought that they were in a relationship, but apparently she's saying that they weren't in a relationship. So if you was a roommate, why wasn't you not paying no roommate money? Why do you think that doing stuff as a girlfriend was okay? I don't know if she's lying or not. I think she is lying though. I think she's lying about the whole whether or not if they were intimate or not. I just think that she's trying to make it make it seem like she was never in a relationship with him. She had no interest in him in that way. Now, to try to paint him negative as if he was coming on to her and she had to worry about her safety the whole entire time while you're staying in his house rent free, thinking that you can do what a wife does and not have to contribute financially. But he better not play that music loud. Oh, girl, I can't. I can't. Let's go on.
Up, and he just is a really touchy-feely person.
Okay.
So.
All right. So what was going on at the apartment last night? You guys just hanging out, or what was up?
We were just we had came back from my friend's house. He left me out there for an hour. He said he had to go to a class for an hour or something.
So you were at the apartment by yourself for an hour?
Yes, I was at my friend's apartment.
Oh, okay.
And he came back to get me, and the reason we left my friend's apartment was because he started a confrontation at my friend's apartment. He would start doing this with his nose and stuff, and I'd be like, yo, are you okay? And, stuff like that. And then he'll, pull down, his pants, showing his boxers, so almost his would, be seen and shit.
Mm-hmm.
And, it just, made me feel uncomfortable, so I got into an argument with him at my friend's house, and then my friend started sticking up for him, so I was like, I feel out of place, so we might as well just go. So, we left, and when we got back and stuff, I had the whole entire car was just silent, no music, no nothing. And then as soon as we got back to the house, he tried playing this music, and I'm the type of person I like peaceful music and stuff like that, and he's the more the violent upbeat music. I don't know how to explain it, but basically I just asked him to turn the music down and stuff, and then he would just be doing this with his teeth, giving me these mean looks, and I'd be like, what is all that for? So
I'm sorry, guys. I'm getting something to eat. I'll be on camera real soon. But she's getting on my nerves. Why are you doing so much girlfriend and boyfriend activities with someone who is not your boyfriend? Can someone answer that to me? Why are you doing so many boyfriend and girlfriend activities if he's not your boyfriend? Why are you going to some place to link up with people and hang out and all the stuff like that as a couple if y'all not a couple? He wanted to lay up under me and I was like, ew, and I'm getting uncomfortable. He started wearing his pants down and lowering his pants and I'm getting uncomfortable. I don't understand, why did she even believe that this is believable? You literally told the detectives that how you met this man, he hollered at you at the McDonald's drive-thru, and you gave the guy your number. So y'all didn't have nothing going on. Y'all wasn't intimate, or it wasn't even about that. It's really hard for me to believe that, because it started off, he was flirting with you. You took the bait. You took his number, and then everything else is history. Up to the point where he felt it was comfortable enough for you to be in his house. I don't know. I'm gonna let this play on. Let me go get something to eat. This is terrible.
That's basically how things transpired and led up to that. And then just the name calling and all the stuff that came after it. So
Liana decides to tell the detectives about her interaction with her boyfriend's brother the day before.
So his brother is like talking to me and a bit like being like, did he get any pussy from you and stuff like that? And I'm like, no. I'm like, no, that's not even a factor. Like, so I was like, yeah, we're friends. We're not even dating or anything. And he was like, well, to be honest, I would have been cracked you. And I was like I felt kind of like offended.
What does that mean?
But I was
what he
just,
said?
like, cracked you, like I would have been like put my dick in you, like type thing. I don't. So it just like threw me off. But like I was just kind of like, all right. I mean, I guess like laughed it off, I guess. So he comes back in the car and he's like, "What are you guys laughing at?" And I was like, I didn't want to say it in front of him, you know, like, and just start something between them because they're brothers or whatever. But, so I waited till we got back to the house, and when he asked me that, I was just like, it was nothing really, just like making some jokes or some shit. So when we got back to the house, we got into an argument because I needed a ride to go see my friend, and he was mad that I asked him if his friend could drive me to where I was for some gas money. And he was just like, why? Or like, why? And I was like, what do you mean why? Like, I just need a ride. And so he was like hesitant at first, and then he like opened up and was like, all right, I mean, I'll text him. So he texted him, and then basically he got mad because I had basically said the truth. So he was like, he was just like, we don't give a anyway, we pass bitches around. And I was like, what is that supposed to mean? You know, like, but I don't know, it just made me feel like out of place. And then I noticed like extremely like just weird patterns of behavior like after that. But yeah, and like that, I think really what set it off was either he was taking some drugs, and then just that situation on top of the drugs like just made him like act out of anger. And I don't think he was really paying mind to what he would say. Like he just seemed like off in the head, like he was just like laid back on the inside, but like just mean as hell on the outside. I don't know how to explain it.
You ever seen him like this before?
No, it was just like the past 3 days. And
Did you see him do any drugs?
I didn't see him do any drugs. I saw him like smoke weed. Like he smokes like a ton of weed, like just back to back to back. And I would tell him like, yo, I'm on probation. I can't, you know what I'm saying, be around that and stuff. And like he'll even get like so disrespectful, like.
Yeah, so she's getting on my nerves because she's lying. I know exactly what happened. We're gonna continue to go through the video, but I know exactly what happened. He found out that you was playing games with him, right? You was playing games with him. You was trying to link up with his brother. You was trying to do all this stuff like that. So you sitting up there telling the brother and everybody else, nah, we not together. We just cool. And he like, what the hell you mean we ain't together? Or you ain't my shorty. You said you laying up in my house. You in my house, and now you trying to say that we ain't in a relationship? You try to clown him in front of all those dudes. Then y'all had an argument. He's playing his music, trying to zone out in his house. Like, what the fuck did I do? Why did I get myself into dealing with some using ass woman like that? You sat up there. You was mad because you was mad that and afraid that he was gonna kick you up out the damn house. So you started with him in reference of his music. And he's like, B, I will play all the music I want in my damn fucking house. You don't pay no damn bills here. And that's why you threw the water in his face. That is exactly why. Because tell you the truth, he had every right to tell you to leave his house, especially if you ain't on you ain't been there. You haven't even been there that long. You wasn't even there for 6 months. So he has every right to tell you to leave his house, especially when he finds out that you're playing him and you sitting up there on the low trying to mess with his brother, mess with this other person and that person, and then also playing him, saying that y'all not even in no relationship or shit like that. You started with him. That's why you started with him, because your ass got caught. Your ass got caught out there being a trifling woman. That's what it was. And then you took it to the edge when the whole situation happened. He probably was telling you to get out the house, and you was like, "No, I ain't going." And you took that chain that's on that door, and you strangled him with it. Let's go on.
Like, he'll just blow it in my face, like, and just be disrespectful. So I'll go try to open up the window, and he'll get mad at me for opening up the window.
Liana has done her best to explain that her boyfriend wasn't a very moral person. Based on her stories, he was an angry person who was addicted to drugs.
What boyfriend video Ace is? What boyfriend? She said that man wasn't her boyfriend. She said that we just friends. That wasn't her boyfriend. According to her words, that wasn't her boyfriend.
And enjoyed being mentally abusive towards her. When she finishes talking about her boyfriend, the detectives ask about the events leading to his death.
And how did it start? Just with the name calling and stuff that you talked about?
Just like when I asked him to turn down the music, and I just wanted some peace and quiet, because like sometimes I just get anxious, like when like too much is going on and then the violent music is playing. It's just like I get like real fidgety. So I asked him to just turn it down or turn it off for a minute, and he was like, "Bitch, I'll do what I want in my house." Like, and I was just like, damn. So
did I call it or did I call it? She said verbatim what I said that man said to her. Did I call it? Let me play this video. Good child.
I got mad and I threw the water in his face, and that's what triggered everything. So
I mean, you threw water in his face, and then what happened after that?
I just said what happened after that. He pulled me by my hair and charged at me.
Yeah, but I'm just looking for a little bit more detail.
He charged at me while he was sitting on the red couch. He was smoking a cigarette. He put out his cigarette after I threw the water on his face. And then he charged at me and tackled me onto the bed. And that's when he started pulling my hair. And then I like started fighting him back, and I like pushed him to the door, and he started grabbing the chain and like taking the chain off the door and shit. And then like he started doing this like around my neck. And then he like eventually like pushed me on the bed, and like he was like choking me. Like I hit my head on the wall, like, and he was just like, I could not breathe. Like I felt myself like swallowing spit in the back of my throat. And it was like life or death at that point. So I was just like.
One thing the detectives noticed, and you will also notice in Liana's mugshot, which was taken less than 24 hours after the incident took place, is that she didn't have any strangulation marks. Based on her testimony, there should definitely be some markings around her neck.
Did you lose consciousness?
I was like, at one point in time, I was saying maybe for like 30 seconds, I just felt like my throat was like closing, and like I just couldn't breathe. So I was like freaking out. I started like pulling his hair, and then I like started choking him, and while he was choking me, I was just like.
See, she doesn't even make any sense, because if he choked you and you was blacked out, you ain't getting up and coming to two in a couple of seconds to have enough strength to choke him. This is how you know she's lying. She doesn't even have any bruising on her. When they found her, she didn't have no bruisings on her neck to show that she was suffering from strangulation or losing oxygen at any point. She didn't have that. So you weren't strangled. You were not strangled. Maybe, who knows? He could have held you down. He could have had probably stopped you from trying to hit him, but you weren't strangled. And nobody, if you went unconscious from somebody strangling you, all they have to do, people don't understand how easy you can die from strangulation, right? It only takes a matter of minutes of cutting the flow of oxygen to your brain where you tend to become brain dead. And your brain is no longer speaking to your body, your vital organs, and that starts to shut down. She said that she blacked out. You're not getting up within a couple of seconds after blacking out, according to you, and being able to have that much strength to fight him and strangle him all over again. Like, she's doing a whole lot of storytelling. She made it she really tried to destroy this man's reputation, make him seem like he's this very horrible, vicious, abusive guy who's on drugs and stuff like that. And that also comes to mind too. If he had a drug problem or he was a part of a lifestyle that you was not into, why did you go and move in with a complete stranger who you said wasn't your boyfriend and you wasn't romantically involved with him? Why would you move in with a complete stranger and who has that type of drug problem? Because she's making it seem like he smoked coke, like or he smoked lace things. Like this is crazy. Really, the audacity of this woman. Yeah, really, truly, really. And it's sad, right? It's sad when we have these type of women who do this, right? Because there are so many women who do suffer for things like that, where they're being strangled, they're being hurt, they're being abused in the household and stuff like that. And you sitting up here lying about it though. But you clearly admitted that you was the instigator of the whole entire thing. He was sitting up there playing music after realizing, coming to a moment of Jesus, realizing, why I got this trifling woman in my house and I got to find a way to get her out my house. That's why he was playing the music, trying to get his thoughts together. And you sat up there, you wanted to start with him. You wanted to start with him because you probably started with him before so many other times when he was ready to kick you up out of his damn house. But then you threw that coochie at him and he decided to change his mind. So you probably led with the makeup to breakup type of situation, makeup sex type of situation. And you thought it was going to work this time and it didn't. Let's go on.
This is like beyond me. So
you don't think you lost consciousness?
I mean, that I lost consciousness or he lost consciousness?
You. While he was choking you, do you think you lost consciousness?
Yeah. Because my throat was closing and I was just like, I could barely, I started seeing colors and spit closing in the back of my throat. So I mean some kind of unconsciousness was there. Like, it was just a life-threatening situation.
Okay. So how did that make you feel when all that was going on?
It made me feel really angry. I don't know, like, why he was that violent, towards me. It just made me feel like maybe like he just was acting sweet in the beginning, like just to like try to get me over his house. And then like I noticed like within the past 3 days, like how he was just like sexually touching me and trying to lay with me and stuff.
Was he saying anything while this fight was going on?
He said like, help, she's trying to kill me or something. And I was like, are you kidding me? Like, he charged at me and was choking me. And then when I fought back, he tried going to the door and taking off the chain. That's where that transpired.
What do you think he was trying to do when he was taking the chain off the door? Was he trying to leave, or was he trying to do something else?
I'm not sure.
Okay.
So I just panicked, and then he started choking me. That's when he threw me on the bed, like trying to fight me off and stuff. And once he like started choking me, and like I couldn't breathe, and I felt my head hitting the back of the wall, like I was just like.
The detectives want to know more about the fight, but Liana appears hesitant to talk about it, so they decide to ask her about what she did after she realized he was dead. This is where it gets interesting, because Liana never called the police. In fact, she hung out with the dead body for hours, even dressing him in his favorite piece of clothing.
All right, so kind of back to the fight here last night. You guys are fighting. He's doing something with the chain on the door, and then all this other stuff happens where you're seeing colors and that sort of stuff. And then kind of what happens after that?
Just like, I don't really want to get like into the detail because it's like kind of traumatizing, like just seeing what I saw and stuff, and like I'll start getting emotional, like. So I really don't want to like talk about like what I saw, but I felt wrong afterwards, but I knew that it was a threatening situation. Like, I just, yeah, I don't
So you had said at one point he had stopped breathing, and then you said something about a robe. You put him in his favorite robe.
Yeah, I had covered him up with his favorite robe and stuff. Like, I sat there for like an hour and a half, and I was just.
You know what's so crazy about this? She is strategically leaving out probably the numerous of times of this man telling you that he can't breathe when you're strangling him with the chain. She's strategically leaving that out though, right? How many times he said, yo, chill, stop, I can't breathe, I can't breathe. And you kept on holding that chain. You kept on holding that chain and pulling tighter. You want to leave that out though, right? It's ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous. And, you know, they're not buying it. They're not buying it at all. Because a lot of this, if you know, from the beginning, all of this could have been avoided. You shouldn't have started with him. You should have let that man play with his music. And if you needed a quiet place to think and get yourself together, get up out somebody else's fucking house. Right? Go to your mom's house, go wherever you were before, go to the park, something like that. But you don't sit up there and tell someone in their own home, you can't listen to this type of music because I don't like it and you need to turn it off or turn it down. You started with him on first, and you started with him on purpose. You started with him on purpose. This is very disturbing, really. Very, very, very disturbing. And they're right. She's not going to get into details about what actually happened with the fight, nor is she's going to try to, like, you know, get out of the fact that you lay with this man's body for hours trying to figure out what would be your next move and how you was going to play this out. And you thought, oh, yeah, you know what? I'm a woman. It was self-defense. Off the bat. It was self-defense. I'm a woman. That I'm gonna leave with that. But you're literally, your whole story doesn't even make any sense. You were the aggressor numerous of times. He went to the door and he took the chain off the door. He could have been leaving and trying to walk out the door and get out of this situation. You would have let that motherfucker leave. You was fighting him and pushing him and trying to get him on the bed. You didn't want him to leave. And then you took that doggone chain and you did what you did. That's just sad, man. It's really sad.
Seeing like if he was gonna like, open his eyes or just put him in his favorite robe, and I took him off the bed and just like put him in a better place, like a fuzzier place.
What happened after that?
I sat there and I cleaned like the entire apartment.
I thought you had just cleaned the day before.
No, he bought the cleaning supplies, but they weren't open or anything.
Okay.
I had like some wipes already in the house and stuff, so I just used that to like clean the other day, but before we got it.
So last night you said you cleaned the whole apartment?
Yes, I threw away cigarette butts and all of the excess trash that was spilled on the floor. He like knocked over a couple ashtrays, some candles.
So then what was happening through like real late at night or real early this morning? Like what was going on then?
Like I woke up like around 6:30 and because I had a probation call at 8 o'clock.
Mm-hmm.
So I set an alarm on my phone to just like remind me to wake up, and I had ended up leaving the house.
One of the questions we hear a lot when someone is claiming self-defense is, was the other person violent towards them in the past? This question shows them how likely it is for the person to use physical violence during an altercation. Violent people have a tendency to become more violent as time goes on, so if her boyfriend had a violent past, this would help her claims of self-defense.
How many times was he violent with you during the time you've known him?
I'd say maybe about like 3 times. I just noticed like when he'll start grinding his teeth and like just giving me these like weird looks, like he just hated me.
Okay.
And like he'll like blow his smoke in my face, like if I'm sitting like on the bed and stuff, like he'll come over in my space, like, or walk over me and be like all in my face, and I'll be like,
that's creepy, and I get where you're coming from. It's eerie and kind of creepy. How many times did he ever put his hands on you when you didn't want his hands on you?
I would say, but like sexually or like
just when I guess I'm trying to dial in on what I mean by violence. What I mean by violence, did he ever push you, strike you, choke you, hit you with an instrument? How many times was he violent? And please describe what do you mean by violent?
He never hit me with an instrument.
Okay.
But he was like violent, like where he would choke me and pull my hair.
How many times in that time that you knew him did he ever pull your hair and choke you, or separately?
I would say maybe like 3 or 4 times.
Okay.
And like I noticed like after he'll be like you're always texting all these guys and shit, and like just acting like a jealous, like overzealous, arrogant, like just I don't want to say it, but like dick.
Okay.
Like just.
Let me ask you this.
See, that doesn't make any sense to me, because I'm not trying to say that there's men who are not, jealous or controlling, even with women that's not theirs. We see those examples, but it doesn't make no sense to me for him, if he knew that y'all weren't in a relationship, if he knew that y'all weren't together, you just wanted to be a pass around. I don't see him acting in that kind of way towards you. I see him, if he thought that you was a pass around and he was sick of you being in his house, the quickest way for him to get you out of this house was to bring another girl in front of your face in that house. I'm keeping 100, and I'm just only speaking of whether or not, if I believe her boyfriend is who I think her boyfriend is, that's what he would have done, right? That's what he would have done. And you see how she was hesitant. Like, the guy had to keep on feeding her. Can you tell me how many times he has physically assaulted you? She's naming everything but that because he hasn't. He hasn't. It's crazy. It's crazy, man. Hey, how you doing, bro? Good to see you. Good to see you. Shout out to No Captivity with Fiends Day. Thank you for stopping by, bro, and I truly appreciate you watching. Mods, if you could do me a favor, if you're still around, can you please put Freezy's channel link in the chat, just in case if anybody is interested in listening to other content, hot topics and all. He has it all there at his space. Shout out to you, bro. Shout out to you. Thank you so much. Let's see. Flower said my IQ must be 50. No, your IQ is not 50. That would have told me it's time to go. Yeah, exactly. If he's blowing smoke in your face like that and he's looking at you like he wanted to kill you or he loathed you, why would you want to stay in a home? If you feeling that type of vitriol, towards you, it doesn't make any sense. It doesn't make any sense. Like, I don't know. Wes says she insane. I'm thinking that. She's not right in the head. Yeah, I don't know, man. It's just sad right here. Like, she's doing a lot. And she's really trying to paint, the narrative that this man was really horrible to her. This man took you off the street. Okay? He took you off the street and he put you in your house. Now, who's to say, yeah, he probably wanted to smash? Yeah. I mean, men want to smash. That's just a fact, right? But even how y'all met as in y'all was dealing with each other. You told them that you wasn't even in a relationship with him. Like, come on. But you knew his brother, though. You ain't in a relationship with him. You're not in nothing romantic with this guy, but you talking to his brother, you talking to these other guys, and you have to let them know, nah, we just friends. Yeah, I just live with my friend. And I clean up his house. Really? Okay. Go on, girl. Bye.
And I know this might be a hard question to ask, and I don't mean to have you relive it, but I'm trying to get an understanding of when his hands are on your neck, what is running through your mind at that time?
Like, I felt like when somebody is just choking you, and you can feel your mind, it just goes black, and it's I started seeing white speckles, okay, in my brain, okay, and it was I was just losing breath, and the banging on the wall. When my head hit the wall and stuff.
And this is the most recent time. This is yesterday.
Easy,
okay.
You can drop your link down.
He had me this, and he was standing over me. And that's when I started pulling his hair. And he already had a piece of my hair, keep in mind. But he had a piece of my hair, and he had me down like this. And then he just started choking me. And that's when I was I grabbed the back of his head. I'm just trying to get him off of me. He's let go of me. I'm you're not letting go of me and stuff. And he just started just going ham.
Okay.
In quotation marks.
When he's got you down like that,
thank you so much.
Yesterday, what do you think is going to happen when he's got you down like that?
I felt like he was trying to kill me.
Tell me more about that feeling and where that comes from.
I just felt you know when you look a person in their eyes and you can just see the hatred that they have for you.
Okay.
And I don't mean it in a crazy way or, to sound crazy, but when you look someone in their eyes and you just see some kind of resentment or grief that they have towards you.
Okay. When he has you down and he's got his hands around your neck and you're feeling the choking.
Oh, normally you would just go to
if you didn't do something about that, what did you think was going to happen?
Copy link, and you just copy it. flower. That's how you
I felt
did
like
it.
I was going to die.
Tell me why you felt like you were going to die.
Because he had such a tight grip on me. And it was like, I was like I could feel his arms around my neck. And I was just like, you know how your throat like kind of clicks, like when you can't breathe? It was like closing and closing. And it was just like really tight in the back of my throat. And I was like this, and my eyes started bulging out my head. And
Okay.
I was like, this is life or death.
Okay.
Liana gives all of the right answers, but there are still a few things that need to be addressed. Besides not calling the police after killing her boyfriend, the detectives want to talk about how his death took place. They realize that Liana doesn't want to talk about it, so they use a specific line of questioning to get her talking.
When you notice that he's no longer breathing, what are you thinking at that point?
I mean, I hope he's alive, but like...
Okay, that's a good answer. So, how long would you say it took for your hands on his neck for him to stop putting hands on your neck? Like how quickly, once you started to intervene on what he was doing, when did he stop?
I would say it was like the whole fight lasted about like maybe 5 or 6 minutes.
Okay.
And just like when he just like started choking me and you know stuff like that, I noticed like he was just like fighting.
Was this dude 110 pounds wet? Because the way how she's explaining how this fight went down, it does not make any sense. It doesn't make any sense for her size, right? I'm wondering, because the way how she's talking, you would think that how she said that she was able to strangle him with her bare hands like a bear, and pretty much he went unconscious while he was trying to strangle her. That means, even if that happened, that means that you was at a vantage point, which she doesn't realize. She doesn't realize why she's saying it. She was at a vantage point where she was able to apply more pressure to his neck than him, right? That means he was not on top of you. A vantage point would be you would be on top of him. And also you probably was using the chain that he took off the door, right? To help you add on more pressure to his Adam's apple, right? That beats your whole story about him being on top of you, strangling him. There is no way that you can be in a laying on the bed position and be able to strangle him more than him being able to press his weight on your throat on the bed. She don't make no sense. And they just letting her talk because, like I said, she likes to talk. She likes to, show how scared I was. It was life and death and all the stuff like that. But he's the one who has he's the one who has a broken neck. He's the one who, is not breathing, who was purple and blue. You were in purple and blue. You don't even have any hand marks on your neck. You're speaking very clear, very clear. You're not having trouble speaking right now. You don't even sound like a person who actually went through strangulation. Not at all. And she doesn't realize that because, like I said, she's dumb. And she thinks that what she said is believable. She looks like she is 140 pounds soaking wet, right? Maybe 150. That's what she looks like just off of what I'm seeing of her. There's no way that you're going to put that amount of pressure to strangle a grown ass man who probably outweighs you 60 pounds. I'm giving the fact that maybe he might have been a buck 90, right? Let's say he's like 6'1" or 5'11" and he's 190 pounds. You are not strangling him unless you are at a advantage, meaning you're either on him, you're either using some type of tool or weapon to give you more pressure when you push down. That's the only reason. That's the only way you was able to strangle him. There's no way you was able to strangle him like a bear while he's on you like this with his weight on you. It doesn't make sense. And when it doesn't make sense, what do we say? It most likely is not true. Let's go on. She's getting on my nerves. Lying all the way through.
Fighting me and like he was looking me in my eyes while he was doing it, and I just felt like really bad about it. Like it just was
It's a bad thing. Okay, so you're describing you're on your back, is that correct, when he starts choking you?
Yes.
Okay. And then you reach up to start choking him to get him to stop, correct?
Yes.
Okay, was there ever a time where once your choking started to get him to stop, did you then change positions to make sure that he couldn't start up again?
I pulled the jacket off of him.
Okay.
And I tried to get on top of him, cause he had me balled up against the wall.
Okay.
Where the bed you could just squeeze down and you can't really fight back. My legs were kicking and stuff. And so I pulled his jacket off him and I tried to get on top of him, and I was just
And at this point, is he still kind of struggling and fighting with you?
He's he's still pulling my hair and attempting to do what he can do.
Still fighting?
Yeah.
Okay.
And I just...
Her story doesn't make much sense, so the detectives decide to leave the room to go over the next line of questioning. If her story is true, and it began with him attempting to strangle her, at some point, she would have had control over him, and because she continued to strangle him, she could be charged with murder. Liana suddenly realizes that talking about the incident itself is doing more harm than good, so when they re-enter the room, she asks for a lawyer.
I feel like I should discuss with my attorney first.
I knew her dumb ass was going to do that because it doesn't make any sense. And on top of that, when you're explaining the whole strangulation, trying to strangle each other, it seems, according to her story, she was in control of the whole situation. It seemed like the guy didn't have no footing on it, right? He wasn't in control. He wasn't the one that was in the advantage at this fight between who's going to strangle who. You said that you was able to pull his jacket off. You know what I'm saying? You were strangling him. He's trying to pull your hair, whatever not. It seems like you was in control of the whole entire time. So again, if you was in control the whole entire time, that means you strangling him to the point where he's not breathing anymore. It went past the self-defense realm because you could have stopped it. You could have only did what you needed to do to get away from him. Not once did you even tell them that you tried to get away from him. The whole entire time she's been telling this story, she's been going at him. She's been going at him. She's sitting on the couch. She's doing this. She's throwing water on him. She's in his face when she stands up. She's in the room. He's trying to get out the room. You're trying to keep him in the room. All of a sudden, y'all falling on the bed. Y'all tossing on the bed. You was able to get his jacket off. He's strangling you. You strangling him. He's trying to pull your hair. You're still holding down pressure on him. You was in control this whole entire time, lady. It's not self-defense anymore. That's not what self-defense is. Let's go on. It's almost over. But yeah, of course she's gonna ask for a lawyer now because she know how dumb as fuck she sound.
First.
Okay, I told you that right from the beginning.
Like that.
Yeah.
But like, the questions weren't like too uncomfortable for me.
Okay.
It was just like more so like just like remembering what happened, how he was laying.
Yeah, like, you'll notice if you said you didn't want to talk about something, I didn't ask you that question again. Right? Okay, so I'm trying to be respectful of your wishes. If there's certain things you don't want to talk about, we won't talk about it. It's fine.
Okay.
I can understand the position you're in, and I'm not trying to like trick you or anything. It's just. Do you have questions for me?
Oh, I hope everything was all well with you, dear. I
When do you
hope you had a
think my
good
attorney
day.
will be here?
Well, the trick with court-appointed attorneys is you don't get one until you get to court. Really.
So how long do you think it'll be till I go to court?
Well, I can kind of speak to that because we had a very similar case last week. So what's going to happen is there isn't any way that we can release you while we.
I just wanted to pause it right quick. Shout out to my brother Freezy for the $10 super cash app. I truly appreciate you, bro. That means so much to me. Thank you so much. That was so sweet of you. Shout out to you. Shout out to you. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. I wanted to give shout out to that because I just got the notification. Yes, thank you so much. I appreciate you. Appreciate you. All right. Alan Gilbert said, what case is this? This is Liana. Liana, I'll get the whole name and I'll put it in the chat for you. Okay, Alan? Let's finish this up. Let's see what she gets, actually.
We do that.
All right.
So I don't want you thinking like, oh, they threw me in jail. They must think I'm guilty of something. No, that's just what we have to do. We have to do that and then continue to do our job.
I understand it.
Okay.
I just like, I don't know. It makes me uncomfortable. Like I like this cell and stuff. Like I'd like solid, like a little bit of like solitude, so like I don't hear like too much noise, cause like it just makes my mind race a lot. And
Well, the good news is on the receiving side of the new jail, it's a lot more individual cells. So I think you'll probably have that.
Liana's biggest mistake was telling her family what she had done, because in the version she told them, a few things were different. She told her family she cleaned the apartment in an attempt to hide her fingerprints, and she also told them that she strangled her boyfriend, but never mentioned that he attacked her. There was also the fact that she didn't call the police after realizing he was dead. In the end, Liana would be charged and convicted of murder, and she was sent to prison for the rest of her life. What are your thoughts on this case? Please share them in the comments below.
What did I think? Liana, you a trifling heifer, and it serves you right to be spending the remaining of your life in prison, okay? You had no reason to do that to that man. And even if he did, assault you, self-defense is doing as much as you need to do to get away. Not once have you shown any or convinced me or the detectives that you tried to flee. You did not try to get away after defending yourself. And because you don't know the law, you don't know what you're doing, you just thought, I'm a woman. All I have to do is just say that he strike me and he tried to kill me, and that was just going to be enough that you needed to do. And you sat there and you thought about it. You sat there with that man's body for hours and thought about it like, I could swing this. I could swing this as self-defense. I'm a woman and I'm going to use it. Serve her right. Serves her right. Serves her right. Especially how you, quote unquote, not claiming that this guy is your boyfriend the whole entire time you're doing the interrogation. But that man done put you in your house. He put you in the house. he had let you around his brother, his friends, and all the stuff like that. He tried to even quote unquote go into business with you so I could actually have a little bit more money in the household. He did all that. And all he wanted to do after he found out you was a trifling heifer, all he had wanted you to do was to let him sit down and play his music so he could figure out how he can get you out his damn house. And you knew that you messed up. You knew that you messed up and you went after him. You went after him. Plain as day. Plain as day. Bye, Wes. Thank you so much for stopping by. Truly appreciate you. All right. So, guys, I have one more video for you guys. So make sure you're hitting the like button for me. Again, it truly helps the channel. I appreciate it. I appreciate it. If you would like to help financially, you can send a super chat, a super thanks, even when the live stream is over. I also have Cash App. You can cash tag $ Sarge Beauty if you're interested in that. If not, if you want to be a part of the Corners community, you can join with one of the membership. And I also have a store too, if you're into actually buying items or merchandise that's associated with the channel. There's so many ways that you can be a part of this community. I truly appreciate the ones who stop by to say hi, who gives a couple of minutes. Though definitely the individuals that's in the chat, conversing with each other makes the channel worthwhile. And I appreciate you all. I really do. Really, really do. Oh, thank you, Michelle. She said, I can't catch MJ as much as I used to. This is great. You're funny. Thank you so much. Thank you. I appreciate you, Michelle. I truly do. It's good to see you again. Thank you. All right. So the next case and the final case I have for you good folks today is about the story of Sarah Hartsfield. Okay. It seemed like this is a very evil story and I wanted to look into it. So make sure we're hitting this like button while we're coming in, stopping by to say hi. Even hit the don't like button. It all helps the channel. All right. Here we go.
And sweeping views across Trinity Bay. In early 2023, two of those residents were newlyweds Joseph and Sarah Jean Hartsfield, who met on a dating app earlier that year. At the time, 46-year-old Joseph had been working as a parole officer in Huntsville, Texas, but with his kids getting older, he was ready to find love again. And with Sarah Jean, Joseph felt like he had hit the jackpot. Charismatic and intelligent, 47-year-old Sarah was a 20-year veteran of the military who had risen to the rank of Sergeant First Class. She was a devoted mother of 4 grown children, and she made Joseph feel like the most important person in the world. As for Sarah, 4 failed marriages had left her questioning her judgment, but with Joseph, she felt she had finally found someone who treated her the way she deserved.
He's the guy you jump out of plane with. Like, he's that person. Like, whatever you're ready for, he's always ready. He always has your back, no matter what, right or wrong, he has your back.
The pair married only 3 months after meeting. Days after the wedding, they up and moved 2 hours from.
So I want to just start this off by saying rest in peace to my fellow service member, Sergeant First Class Sarah Hartsfield. It's always a sad day when we lose a family member, right? Because we all green, right? We green in family. So shout out to her. And it's very disturbing that I'm about to find out what happened to her and why she is no longer with us. They stressed about her relationships and our marriages not working. I'm going to tell you, it is hard, being in certain career fields to have healthy and long-lasting relationships, right? Especially when you're dealing with another individual that might not understand what your job is actually about, or can accept what your job is about, right? Being a person in the military, you are away from your family a lot, right? Especially depending on what your career field in the military is. You can be away for 3 years, 4 years, you name it, right? You could be across the other side of the world. That's a possibility. And a lot of those situations take strains on family, on marriages, So it's a tough situation, and not everybody is built for it, right? And that's on both sides. It doesn't matter if you are a male service member or a woman service member. It's not everybody is built for what happens and what they might have to sacrifice when it comes down to these particular career fields. So, I just definitely want to say my condolences to my Green family. Rest in peace, Sergeant First Class Sarah. Let's go on.
From Joseph's family to a house in Beach City, a stone's throw away from Trinity Bay. It was a whirlwind start with a promising new life. But in those early days, Joseph didn't really know the real Sarah Jean Hartsfield. At midnight on January the 7th, 2023, the Chambers County Sheriff's Office received a 911 call from the home of Sarah and Joseph Hartsfield. It was Sarah who told the operator that she had just found her husband Joseph, a diabetic, unresponsive in his bed with dangerously low blood glucose levels. She had tried giving him jam and juice but could not rouse him. Paramedics transported Joseph to Houston Methodist Hospital, where doctors rushed to save his life. Over the next few hours, he would be pumped with intravenous glucose. Again and again, his blood glucose levels crashed. By now, Joseph had slipped into a coma. His distraught wife, Sarah, took to Facebook. She wrote that Joseph had fallen into a diabetic.
All right, so give me 1 second. I'm going to have to change the story because this is not the one where I thought we lost a fellow service member. This is the one when, in fact, a fellow service member turned out to be the criminal. Yeah, I think I went over this one before. This is the one where this woman was poisoning her husband, and she tried to blame it on another fellow military member, and try to say that he was the one who was poisoning him. But in fact, what she was doing was she got a plant that grows around the base where they lived at, and she was able to mash it up and give him high dosage of that into his water and stuff like that, which ended up killing him. I think this is what it is. I think this is exactly what it is. Like, seriously. Because that's what it's starting to sound like. Because I remember there was a husband who was just really sick, and he was just throwing up all the time, throwing up all the time. And it took them almost like a year. It took them almost a year to find out that it was because she was poisoning him, like some Black Widow type of shit. So give me a second, guys. I'm going to pull up one of my other ones that I have on the list. So we're going to go over it because I am, I don't like to regurgitate videos that we had already beat down to a pulp, but it seems like this might be the exact same video, the exact same one. So I don't want that to happen. So let me go ahead and find another one for you guys. Give me 1 second. I'm going to see. Let me stop sharing my screen. All right, let's see. Did it work? No, not yet, not yet. Yeah, you remember this one, right? Yeah, she was a vicious she was a vicious lady. Very vicious lady. So I'm going to get rid of that one. Let me stop sharing my screen on that one. Yeah. She was vicious, very vicious. I didn't like that story. But I did have one that did have a service member losing their life. I did have one. But I'll pull up another one. So we're gonna scratch that story of Sarah Hartsfield. She ended up being Eveline, and we went over that. I do have another one for you guys because I want to be true to my word. So we're gonna go over when a dumb criminal is a terrible liar. Okay, so let's pull this one up. Let me see. Okay, and here we go. This is dated back to 2018.
Brinley Williams. On January 20th, 2018, a welfare check was done on Marvin's girlfriend, Cassandra Valentine. by the Jacksonville, Florida Police Department. When the police searched her home, they found Cassandra's body lying on her living room floor. The cause of death appeared to be several knife wounds. Because of his history of domestic violence, Marvin was their primary suspect.
All right, Marvin, this is Detective Deborah.
Go on in.
As I said earlier, I'm Detective Zeller.
Good. How are you?
Could somebody please tell me what's going on?
We'll go through all that. But first, we're going to start out. We'll read your rights real quick, and then we'll talk, okay?
Okay.
Do you have any kind of understanding of why you're here today?
No, I don't.
Nothing's happened recently why we would be wanting to talk to you?
No, sir.
Okay.
But now, when I seen the police, I'm on probation.
Mm-hmm. I know that.
That's why when I seen them, I froze, and then no, I can't go back, so I took off.
Okay. Where are you from?
Originally,
Mm-hmm.
South Carolina.
You have a girlfriend here?
I got a fiance.
What's her name?
Her name is Cassandra Hopkins Valentin.
When's the last time you saw Cassandra?
I seen her Sunday.
Okay. Were you guys living together?
Yes, sir.
What's that address? You guys have a phone over there?
She have a cell phone. I have a cell phone.
Okay. What's your cell phone number?
I dropped my phone in water.
Mm.
That's why I can't even make a call.
When did you drop it in water?
Monday
evening, Monday morning?
Around about 6 o'clock, Monday morning.
Okay, early in the morning.
Mm-hmm.
Did you work Monday or?
No, I had an appointment. One because I couldn't go to work, and I couldn't call my foreman because of my phone. So
okay. So you didn't work Monday. Did you work Tuesday?
Yes, I did.
And then you work today, of course. That's where you're at today. Who do you work for?
I work for Ferber.
Ferber. What do you guys do there?
Sheet metal.
Sheet metal work.
The detective begins by asking Marvin questions he should have no reason to lie about, and then study his body language as he answers them. Conveniently enough, Marvin claims to have broken his phone 3 days prior, which is right around the time Cassandra would have been killed. This could be Marvin's way of explaining why he doesn't know she is dead.
All right, so you said last time you saw Cassandra, do you call her Sandy or?
I call her Sweetie.
Sweetie, okay. I'm not going to call her Sweetie, so I'll call her Cassandra for you.
We trying to find out, boss Domo. We trying to find out what he did. Yeah, just watch on. We'll get to it. But what I wanted to say is, okay, with this one, off the bat, it didn't start off good, right? He literally said that he has a fiance. Now we do know that some people are not okay with living with each other until they're actually really married. It's very slim to none that people do it that way because we have boyfriends and girlfriends that live with each other now, right? But the detectives asked him, "Do she live with you?" He said, "Yes." Okay, so you mean to tell me this is your fiance that you live with? Here it is, according to their timeline today, that they're interrogating him or interviewing him. It's Wednesday. You said the last time you saw your girl was Monday. And apparently that is the same time where you dropped your phone in water. I don't know how that happened. I don't know if it was a rainy day or anything. Maybe we'll get into that. But if that's your fiance and she's already missing for 2 days, you don't even know what's going on with her. You don't know why you haven't seen her, and it's Wednesday. That's a problem. That is a serious problem. Let's go on.
See, that's what I call it.
Okay. So you call her Cassandra. Last time you saw her was Sunday night. About what time was that?
Around about, I say around about, 7:30, 8 o'clock. About the last time I seen her, because we had an argument.
Mm-hmm. What was the argument about?
Because the Jags lost the football game. That was the argument was about.
Are one of y'all Jags fans or one not? Or?
Well, she's a New England fan, but she pulled for the Jags because it's Jacksonville. She's in Jacksonville. And I'm a 49er fan.
Okay.
So that's what the argument started about. And then she went to reminiscing about the past history that's between us.
Mm-hmm.
That I just got out of prison for domestic battery on her.
Mm-hmm.
And there was another time that I had been down here for the same thing. So she was reminiscing about that, and she caught a major attitude, and we arguing back and forth. So I said, you know what, I'm gone. I'll be back about a week or two.
Okay. And where'd you go?
So I went downtown.
Mm-hmm.
I just walked around downtown Sunday night, rest of Sunday. Then I went to the shelter.
What shelter did you go to?
I went to Trinity Shelter. Monday, it's a dude there named Debo. He gave me a courtesy and let me stay there Monday night.
Okay, so you stayed there Monday night and then you went to work Tuesday.
And then let me stay there again last night.
Okay. During y'all's argument Sunday night, 7 o'clock, you...
Okay, my guy. With your type of criminal background, for you getting arrested, this would have been the perfect time where you should have had not said anything and gotten a lawyer. Dude, you went to jail twice for domestic battery. You've been going oops upside your head to Cassandra for a while. And now that she is missing or they found her unalive, they just haven't told him yet because they want to see how honest he is going to be with their interaction with each other. You mean to tell me that you got in an argument on Sunday, you was watching the game, and because you watching the game, she just spirals out of control and start reminiscing about the past? No. How about probably the same reason why you used to beat on her before, because she was bothering you when you was watching the game or didn't want to be bothered. She was like, again, you're doing the same thing that you used to do before. And that's why he should have had just gotten a lawyer. I that's all I can say. I'm gonna just keep it 100 with you. With that type of background of you harming this woman, and then now this woman is no longer here or is missing, you are going to be the number one suspect regardless. You know what I'm saying? You have a history of committing violence against this woman who's you supposedly supposed to love. But let's go on. Let's hear him lie some more.
You said 7 p.m., correct?
Somewhat, yes.
Okay, somewhere around there. Was there any violence at all? Was she violent towards you?
As soon as I walked, because I was outside smoking before the argument started. But when I came back in, as soon as I walked in, she kind of pushed me.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm like, we started arguing. So I left.
Mm-hmm.
But then as I was leaving, she said, well, I'm going to Miss Mary's house. She went down to the store, got us some alcohol, came back to Miss Mary. I was sitting at the bus station.
So you said she was headed over there, and then where'd you go from there?
I walked around town. I just walked just mad. Like, why we always arguing, this and that and third. Mm-hmm. So I just stayed at that all night. Mm-hmm. I couldn't call my phone. Like I said, I couldn't call my foreman.
When'd your phone go? When'd you drop your phone in the water?
Monday.
Monday morning?
Monday morning.
You said about 6 o'clock?
Mm-hmm.
What about before then? Did you call anybody before then?
I tried to call her. I tried to call her before I dropped my phone in the water.
Okay.
I tried to call her. She wouldn't answer the phone.
This is not Marvin's first time dealing with the police. In 2012, Marvin was arrested for domestic violence against Cassandra, but the charges were dropped. In 2013, he was sentenced to 4 years of probation for felony domestic battery and false imprisonment, and again, it was against Cassandra. The detectives know Marvin's claims are lies, and they're about to confront him with the truth.
What I would like to know, okay, I know something bad happened. All right.
Bruh, it's a wrap. It's a wrap, because here's the thing, and this is what he's not thinking about. If they already had you as a suspect, if they already found Cassandra, they already found your DNA on her, they already found that she was unalived in a certain type of way. Then on top of that, they already checked the surveillance cameras everywhere. They probably also can go and verify whether or not if you was at any male shelter. That's why they asked you the name. That can be easily verified if they had you there. I'm sure you had to sign in with your name or an ID to even stay there for a night. So it's just like, come on, man. Like, you should have just got a lawyer. You should have got a lawyer. But yeah, I don't even know what to say about this. It's sad because he really think that he's convincing anyone, and he's not. He's just making himself look even worse, especially since his criminal record, literally for the past 4 to 5 years, had to do involving Cassandra, and she's the one that's not alive anymore. It's terrible. Hey, Bruce, how are you? I hope you're having a great Thursday, sir. Hey, sexy. Thank you for stopping by. I truly appreciate it, sis. Hey. And you just got off of work. I hope you had a good day. Hope you had a great day. Yeah, it's just really sad, man. Like, come on. Like, you should have just got a lawyer. Like, seriously. Because now it just makes you look even it just makes you look even bad because it doesn't even make any sense. Like, you was not walking around the whole of Sunday and the whole of Monday, and Monday morning you try to call her before you dropped your phone in the water. Did you drop your phone in the water on purpose, sir? And if you didn't do it on purpose, why don't you have your phone? Did you try to go get your phone fixed? Did you go get a new phone from your carrier? Like, what? Like, come on now. Let's go on. Let's go.
I mean, I've talked to your sister, Minnie. I mean, in South Carolina. I got back from South Carolina about 10 o'clock last night. I've talked to your sister here, Lizzie or Angela. I'm not sure which. Do you call her Lizzie or Angela?
I call her Angie.
Okay, Angie. I've talked to her locally. I've seen the text message you sent her. I've listened to the voicemail that you left for Minnie. Okay, so I know something bad happened. I know that you weren't downtown all night. Okay, I know that.
Yes, I worked downtown.
I can tell everywhere your phone was when you made those calls.
Thank
okay,
you so
I know
much,
you went
Sexy.
downtown. I know the last place your phone hit the tower was downtown. I know all those answers to all those questions. Okay, what I don't know is I don't know your mindset. Okay, I don't know if you maliciously planned something or if something bad happened in the spur of the moment. But you know where I'm coming from, right? I mean, you got to know that I know all this, all right? And I'm giving you an opportunity to be upfront as you can, okay? I know that at points you even contemplated taking your own life, okay? So obviously I know there's some regret there, okay? I know.
Michelle said when they called him to come in and talk to them, he should have gotten a lawyer. Yes, especially for the simple fact is that if it was an accident and he didn't mean to harm this woman, he should have had called right then and there. This is 3 days later. This is 3 days later that they had to reach out to him to have this interrogation. So that means that whether something happened to her or whether it was a accident, spirit, a moment of rage or whatever not, and it took over, you didn't feel guilty and you trying to cover it. But this is your quote unquote fiance, right? He led with that. Yeah, that's my fiance. I call her sweetie. I call her sweetie. That's what he said. Let's go on. This is sad, man.
I know there's some feeling of sorrow, okay? Because I don't think that when you started out Sunday night that you planned on it ending the way it did, okay? I know for sure she was drinking, and yeah, I don't know about you obviously because I don't have a way of testing your blood from Sunday night, Monday morning. I don't know if you were drinking and things just went south, but I know things went south, okay? And they went a lot further south.
Some might believe, yes, some might believe that it does make you look guilty if you call a lawyer right away. But in his case, he needed to call a lawyer due to his criminal history, right? So whether or not, if let's say they did get in an argument or something happened to her, an accident, whatever not, hey, I need to get on the lawyer and let them know what exactly happened. I know I have a bad history of being abusive to this woman, but I ain't no killer. You see what I'm saying? Like that's the difference between it, you know? And I don't think he knows how to articulate himself good enough to not put him in a position where he would look like I wouldn't say like he would look guilty nonetheless, right? But everything that he did, it does seem guilty too. Like I said, this is your fiance. You acting like you don't know that she's dead. You don't know where she is. It's been 3 days. Y'all said supposedly had an argument on Sunday. You said that you was walking around. You left the house. You were walking around downtown the whole night. You spent one night at the shelter, and then you was heading on the bus, and you was trying to call her early in the morning, but you didn't get hold of her, and you dropped your phone in water, so that's why you don't have your phone now. My thing is, it seemed like she lost her life on Sunday, not Monday. She lost her life after having that argument in the house with him watching football. That's what it looked like.
Than her just pushing you. So the question today is, are you going to be honest? Are you going to sit here and tell lies? All right. Listen, I went up and talked to Minnie, and he's been praying for you. Minnie's biggest concern
Correct. That's what we
was that you were going to either hurt
that is their
yourself
job. They're not
or you were
here
going
to help
to
you.
force
They're here
us
to
to
get the
hurt you.
evidence.
And I assure her that's not what we want to do. Okay? What I wanted to do is happening right now. I want to sit across from the table from you and talk to you. Okay? I don't harbor any ill feelings for you. I'll tell you who I feel sorry for.
Yes.
The sorriest I feel for
A
in all
lot
this
do. It's
is your
subconsciously
sister
they
Minnie.
believe that makes them guilty.
Okay? She had to listen to that message and worry about you for 2 or 3 days. Okay? And I've called and left her a message, but she doesn't get off work till 3. So she probably hasn't got that message yet.
The detective knows that Marvin is very close to his family, and he's hoping that mentioning them will help get a confession from Marvin. What they haven't told him yet is that they have the voicemail he left his sister, where he confesses to taking Cassandra's life.
So, where are we going to be? Did you make a mistake and things went south? Yeah. Okay.
So the reason why he finally said yeah and stopped trying to act like he don't know what's going on is because once he realized that they got a hold of his sister, he knew that they knew that he did what he did. He knew that now they knew that, yeah, they understand exactly what happened. So let's see what else he has to say. Let's see if he's going to be honest and tell the truth, as in to what really led or up to Cassandra losing his life. And also admit that if you did leave the house or you started roaming around and stuff like that, that was all a diversion, right? To put your footprint in different areas and different places so it wouldn't link up with the timeline of her death. Let's see if he's honest with that. But other than that, he's toast. He's completely toast. Ain't no way getting away with that. He's no way getting away with it. She's missing, and he has been reported for domestic battery and more than once. Yeah. Yep. Oh, he's fried. Yes, he is. Yes. On top of it, this man left a voicemail cop into the murder, and he's going to drag himself and his officers do all this. Yeah, absolutely. Like he tried. I mean, initially he tried. Like I said, you can see his cover-up plan. He told his family what he did. He was like, I'm sorry, but I ain't trying to go back to jail. So what I'm going to do, I'm just going to go, get on the bus, Dodge City. But until then, I'm going to stay in the male shelter and all that. I'm going to get rid of my phone. That's literally what he was doing. You know what I'm saying? He was trying to put his footprints in other places to make it seem like he didn't know what's going on if they did ask him any questions about Cassandra. And it's really sad. And the audacity to call her his sweetie. Interesting.
Let's start over. What happened?
I was drinking. You know, Minnie told me not to drink no liquor, cause I can't handle liquor.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like it enhances my attitude.
Mm-hmm.
So once we started arguing,
Thank you, young Riaz.
it's like a rage just came out.
What happened?
First, after the argument, I left. She come out the door. I said, "Where you going?" I'm going to get me some drink. So she went down to Monk Creek Lodge. I followed behind her. She got it. She got her wine. She went over to Miss Mary's house. She said she was going to Miss Mary's house just to chill out with Miss Mary because she called her grandma. So I tried to call her. I told her, I said, you know what, it's over with. You want to choose drinking over me, this and the third, da da da. But I'm just tripping. I ain't saying that it's over. I'm just
upset.
Yeah, because you know, if I get upset, I'm going to say some stuff. I'm going to say some things and get that out of the way. So when she came home, I finally came home, but she left her key in the door. So I'm like, why is your key in the door? Oh, I left it there for a reason. I said, what's the reason? And then she started the argument back from the previous argument. So what happened was that the argument got heated some more. She went and grabbed the knife. I took it from her. And that was the end of it.
Where were y'all at when she got the knife?
It was in the hallway.
Okay. And when you took it from her, what was she doing?
She was struggling.
Oh, not after this one, good sir. I have to get ready to go to work, so I normally just do 3 videos. I'm sorry.
She was being resistant.
But I'll be back.
And she fell. I fell on top of her.
What point did you get the knife?
When I fell on top of her, because I had grabbed it like this, the handle part from her. So once I grabbed it, she was pulling. So I'm telling her, let it go. So when she done, instead of got put a little grip to it, I'm stronger than she is.
I mean, obviously, you're a big dude. She's
I'm stronger than she is, so I'm trying to have I'm kind of like having fun, you know.
This is quite disturbing, right? Because you gotta listen to what he's saying, right? Not listen to the words that he's using, listen to the things that he's not saying in between the words, right? Because he clearly stated that he was drinking. She had a problem with him drinking. So she said, F that, you gonna drink and you gonna get all crazy and carrying on. I'm gonna go out there and go get my wine. He had a problem with that because she said I was gonna go out, drink my wine, and be with Miss Martha, right? He had an issue with that. He said he followed her, right? He said that he followed her when she left the house. So he was on one. He was on one before she even got the wine. He was on one. Got back to the house. He's arguing with her. And I think that he was getting aggressive with her because he has a history of getting aggressive with her. And she probably did go and grab a knife. Like, you going to get out of my face or whatever. Now I'm going to protect myself. And he was like, what you doing with that knife? He grabbed her, got the knife away from her, and he proceeded to stab her. Because he even said himself, he was having fun. He said he knew he was stronger than her. So again, at any point of time, he could have ended the situation. Even if you was a fearful of your life, once you was able to get that knife from her, she was no longer a threat to you. You could have called the cops and said, this crazy woman pulled a knife on me, da 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 da, whatever. But that's not what you did. You took joy and you was like, I'm gonna show you something. I'm gonna show you something, woman. And that's exactly what you did. Shout out to Lord. I appreciate you. I appreciate you. Thank you so much for the $5 super chat. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. I truly, truly appreciate you. Any support for this channel, I really do appreciate it. Y'all don't understand. It really means a lot to me. So shout out to you. Shout out to you, sir. I really do appreciate you. Yes, boss man, go ahead and rewatch the other ones. You'll enjoy them. I hope you will. I'll say that. I hope you enjoy the other videos I have. Shout out to you. And thank you for being new here. Yeah, but it's just sad, man. It's really sad. Having fun, he didn't like her at all. Right. It was a joke. It was all a joke to him. It was fun. Oh, no problem, Flower. Let's finish hearing what he has to say.
So I loosened up and I said, you want a knife that bad? You can have it. But I still got the hammer part.
Mm-hmm.
When she pulled, she got the blade part towards her. So when she pulled...
Where was she grabbing that on the knife?
She was grabbing like... I got the handle.
Mm-hmm.
Like one hand. But it's still some more handle there.
Mm-hmm.
So she grabbed that part there. So when
she's grabbing the handle and the blade?
Yeah. So when she slipped, we both fell.
Mm-hmm.
And I landed on top of her with the knife in my hand.
Mm-hmm. Then what happened?
And she was hollering. I'm like, what you hollering for? So I looked, the knife was in her.
Where at in her?
It was somewhere in her stomach. So I pulled it out. And she was saying, baby, I'm dying, baby, I'm dying. I panicked.
Then what happened?
She said that we're supposed to be getting married in June.
Mm-hmm.
Only thing is when I pulled the knife out, I panicked so hard and I told her, ain't nobody gonna believe this. Ain't nobody gonna believe that you slipped and I fell on top of you.
Mm-hmm. At this point, it's the wound right here. And
just
right in her stomach.
Somewhere in here.
Mm-hmm.
It's so bad how much of a liar he is. You really believe that anybody's gonna believe that y'all was tugging with the knife? You said that you had the handle. She didn't have the handle. So this is where comprehension, right? Actual critical logic, or critical skills or logical skills comes in, right? If you have the handle, you're a big guy. You already said that you have overpowered her. She has, you're stronger than her. She can't overpower you. You had the handle. She grabbing for the knife away from you. They can clearly see on her body whether or not she has blade marks or cuts on her hands. That will let you know that she was trying to stop you from stabbing her by holding on to the blade. But you're the one who had the handle. There's no way that y'all slipping and falling and you are falling on top of her and it's like, oop, I fell on top of you, and it goes into your stomach. And then on top of that, you said you pull it out, and then when you pull it out, you panic. Like, okay, so this is where my EMT comes in, but I think the regular average Joe would know this. You don't ever take an object out of a person who has been stabbed. You never do that. Why? Because the loss of blood. you taking the knife out of the wound, gushing of blood is going to start coming out or spilling out, depending on where you stab them at, right? If you stab them in the artery, you're going to get a different type of spatter of blood. Whether if you do a long cut on a vein, it'll give you like a slow drip. Like there's, different parts of your body, you get certain type of bleeding, how lashing out. But if you were sitting up there and you stab her in the stomach, why would you remove the knife? And then not once did you say anything that you helped try to stop the bleeding. You didn't inform her that she needs to start putting pressure on it. You didn't start to put pressure on it, nor did you call the ambulance if it was all an accident. So you want to lead with you were so frightened and afraid, y'all had an argument and y'all slipped and you accidentally stabbed her. But I accidentally stabbed my fiance, my sweetie pie, but I would not render her aid. I did not try to help stop the bleeding. I did not call 911. No, but she's having this full-on conversation with you. Baby, I'm dying. I'm dying. We supposed to be getting married. You know what's so funny? She was probably saying that while you were stabbing her. She was probably saying that while you was continue to stab her and think this shit was funny, right? Because she thought she was stronger than you, right? This guy is disgusting me. Disgusting human being. Let's go on.
So I'm like, ain't nobody gonna believe this. First thing they're gonna look at is our history together. The battery.
And you're having this conversation with her at this point?
Yes.
Okay.
You still concerned?
And I want to
This
think
is
about
what's
me going
driving
back.
me insane. You're more concerned about nobody's going to believe it's an accident than actually trying to save your fiance. Make it make sense. Make it make sense. You know why it doesn't make sense? Because you didn't care if she died. In fact, it helped you. In your mind, it would be better if she died because she can't go and tell anyone that I stabbed her. She can't speak. She can't defend herself. So it's better to let this girl die. I know the truth. I know what happened. All I have to do is just dodge out of town. Catch me if you can, cops. Like, this is crazy, man. Come on. Unnecessary, yo. Like, it's really unnecessary. What a douchebag, man. Let's go on.
The prison.
Mm-hmm.
I panicked.
No, I haven't.
She was like, I want to ask you something. And I'm looking your face in tears. This is what she said to me. Finish me off. I told her no. Said, baby, do it. I'm tired. I want to go home. If you love me, finish it.
She didn't say no stupid shit like that. How dare you? How dare you? Finish me off, babe. Finish me off. You really want them to believe that she said that? Go ahead and just finish me off. If she's sitting up there able to have a full-on conversation with you, that means she had more than enough time for you to call 911 and for EMS to come and help her. So you really want me to believe that she told me, oh, just finish me off, babe? No, that's what you told yourself. Let me go ahead and finish her off because I don't want to go back to prison now, not on just assaulting her for her murder. That's what happened. You told yourself that. Sitting up there lying, talking about women told you to finish her off. Like, I get it. She had, like, we obviously, if she took you back and you had to go to jail for almost a couple of years because you did you did battery on her and she kept on taking you back from 2013 to from 2016. I understand that her mindset is that she was lacking in self-love and she was conditioned to think that you actually loved her. So she let herself be put in situations like this, right? I get that. But you're not going to tell me, and there's no way you're going to convince me that she sat up there while her last dying breath to finish me off, babe. I'm tired. I'm just tired of the world. I'm tired of everything. Just finish me off. No, you believe that that was your right to do that. You've been able to control her and manipulate her and abuse her this whole entire time. If you that controlling and abusive to her, what makes you think that I wouldn't believe that you think that you have the right to take her life? I know you believe that you thought that you had the right to take her life. Who the hell you think you fucking fooling? You ain't fooling those detectives. Look at the detective sitting up there with his arm folded. He don't believe a goddamn thing that you said. That is crazy.
I was scared. I did what she asked me. That's when I texted my sister.
Marvin claims that what happened to Cassandra was all an accident. The first knife wound may have been an accident, but what about the 4 that followed? Well, according to Marvin, while Cassandra was lying on the floor, instead of asking him to call 911, she asked him to just finish her off. I will say that I've covered hundreds of interrogations, and I'm still surprised by the stupidity of some of these criminals.
Is there anything else? Then you text your sister.
So now, she has 5 stab wounds. 5 stab wounds. Really? She told you to finish her off? She's in excruciating pain by being stabbed in the stomach, bleeding, half unconscious, half conscious. And you mean to tell me she just told you, if you love me, finish me off, and finish me off as stab me 4 more times? You really want people to believe that? Get the hell out of here. Hey, Sophia, it's good to see you, darling. I hope you're having a great Thursday, but he's getting on my nerves. Yes, exactly. Like, this is crazy. This is crazy to me. Not finish me off. This is not a movie. Ain't it? Ain't he's really trying to play this off like this is some movie. I love you, babe. I love you. Finish me off, babe. Don't make me turn into a vampire. Smoke. Finish me off, smoke. Boy, you gonna get the hell on out of here. The first strike won't fatal. Right, it wasn't fatal. He had enough time to talk. He had enough time to save her, and he doesn't even realize that he told on himself. He had more than enough time to save her. If she's having a full-on conversation with him like that, you could have been had EMS, and they could have helped her. They could have stuffed the wound. They could have stopped her from bleeding. She probably would have been okay if she's having that type of conversation with you. I feel bad for her. Yeah, I do too. You were scared? What do you think she was feeling? Exactly. Text, what a dummy. Yeah, he's a dummy. He's definitely a dummy. 4 more strikes? Nah, he's wicked. Yeah, exactly. Pure stupidity. Yeah, you're absolutely right. Pure stupidity. Yeah. Yes, young Riaz. Yes, absolutely. Yeah. He think this is a movie. I was having fun. Psychopath. Yeah, exactly. It's just crazy. It's really crazy to me. Stab me. Don't let me become a vampire. Smoke. Do it, smoke.
You text Minnie.
I left the house.
I'm sorry, you text Lizzie.
I left the house. I went downtown. I text Angie. First, I think I called her. I think I called her, but then I texted her and told her. I said I did something stupid. wasn't my intentions. I did something stupid.
The detective will now play the voicemail Marvin left for his sister, Minnie.
I love you, Minnie. Please take care of Mom for me. Tell Mom I love her. I know you're disappointed in me. Wanted to tell you, but I just killed Sandy. I can't go back to prison. Love you all. Bye-bye.
That's
Give Kitty a big kiss and a hug from the okay? Tell her I love her.
That's the message you left me.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. When she was laying there after she got stabbed the first time.
Even with his own words, mind you, when he sent that voicemail to his sister, the detectives, the police, they did not know a crime was committed. Not yet. What he said to his sister was his honest to God truth. He said he killed her. He didn't say it was no accident. He didn't say that we was arguing and we was fighting over the knife and we both slipped or off the rug and the knife went in her. It was a full-on accident. You didn't say that. You said that you killed her. You also didn't say that she told me to. She wanted me to get let her go. She wanted to be with the ancestors. She didn't say nothing. You didn't say none of that. You told your honest truth to your sister. And you made it seem like you was going to go commit suicide yourself. But we see that your ass is still here, right? I love you. I ain't going back to jail. Just give everybody a hug and tell them I love them. So they could fear for you, your safety. They could fear that you're going to take your life. You had no intentions of taking your life. You had no intentions. You chickened out on that shit real quick. That's why they was able to come get your ass, scoop your ass up on a Wednesday and ask you questions in regards of your fiance. Because your chicken ass chickened out when it was time to quote unquote end your life. But you had no problem fucking doing that to hers. So freaking annoying. These fools watch too much TV. Yeah, TV, movie, everything. Like, goddamn, like seriously, take y'all damn internet. Leaving all types of evidence and confessions. He wants to be with his boyfriend in prison. He hated that lady. He definitely hated that lady. He just thought he was going to get away with it. All because she wanted him to drink her wine with her friend because he's a belligerent drunk. Yeah, it's all because he wanted to control her. He knows that he has a drinking problem. He admitted that everybody told him that he should not drink. And a lot of the time when he was abusing her before is because he's an alcoholic. He's an abusive alcoholic. So why are you drinking when you know that probably one of the stipulations for Cassandra to get back with you is you said that you weren't going to drink, which makes perfect sense why she started I guess bringing up the past like he said when on the Sunday night football game because you're drinking and you said that you were not going to drink. That was one of the stipulations of being back in a relationship with her, that you were not going to drink because you can't drink. You're abusive drink. You're abusive drunk. Excuse me. You're abusive drunk. Now it makes perfect sense. Let them speak and you start to put the picture together all yourself. Now I know why that woman, if she did start nagging you while you was playing football because you was doing something that you said that you weren't going to do by getting back in a relationship with her and y'all getting married and stuff like that. And you went off on her, started being abusive and shit like that. She said, I ain't dealing with your ass. I'm going to go get my wine and I'm going to go stay at Martha's. And you said, no, bitch, no, you ain't. No, you ain't. You going to come home. Fuck that shit. Da 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 da. What a coward. What a real true coward.
You had control of the knife, right? At that point, you have the knife in your hand, and she's let loose of it, and that's when she's telling you to finish her.
I had pulled the knife out of stuff.
Mm-hmm. What was she doing with her hands at that point? She just like relaxed, or
once I pulled the knife out, she covered up the wound. I said, "Baby, let me see."
Mm-hmm.
I said, "Baby, let me get some ice or something to put on it to slow the bleeding down."
Mm-hmm.
She said no. She said she was tired. She was ready to go home.
You right, Bruce. You right.
Were you standing up at that point, or were you?
I was kneeling on one knee.
One knee, and then she was on her kind of side to and back. I mean, obviously at that point, you're in fear of going to jail, correct? And that's why. And then she's saying to finish her. I mean, do you think at that point there was a better decision to be made? I mean, do you think stand up and call 911?
You know, Detective, I've been on a long road with her.
Yes, sir.
I loved her.
Mm-hmm.
I fought so hard to get back with her. Wow.
You did not love that woman. Stop saying that. Because if you love that woman, she would still be here. She wouldn't have 5 stab wounds in her body. If you loved that woman, you wouldn't have to go to prison for 4 years for battery. And also battery 3 years prior. You did not love that woman. What you loved is the fact that you had access to that woman, and that woman allowed you to have access to her because she actually loved your raggedy ass. You didn't love her. You love what you got out of her. You love that you was able to use her. You love that you was able to manipulate her. You also love that you was able to abuse her. That's what you loved about her. You didn't love the actual individual. I'm sick and tired of these raggedy ass fucking people, because we hear it on both sides, men and women. I'm sick and tired of these raggedy ass people thinking that the way how they harm and they do people wrong, and they want to chuck it up as that's love. No, that is not love. That is not love at all. You are sorely mistaken. Not one of your acts that you have shown this woman was love. Not one. You wouldn't even save her life. You're literally painting the picture that this woman said, forget about me, forget about my life, forget about what I have to offer, forget about the loved ones and my family members and friends who love me. You not going to jail is more important than me living. You not going to jail is more important than me breathing. Finish me off. You really expect people to believe that? I can't stand a lying asshole. Let's go on. Let's go on.
Where we was at.
Yes, sir.
So do you really think that I wanted to do that? And I'm sitting here looking at you dead in your eyes. You really think that I wanted to do that?
To her?
Yes.
No. No, I think you got upset and something bad happened.
She begged me, sir. She begged me to do this.
She begged you to kill her?
Because she was tired. After that knife went in her, she was tired.
I mean, do you think that, do you still think, like, we're sitting here right now today, do you think that was the right decision?
No, it wasn't the right decision.
That's what I was asking.
It was not the right decision.
I mean, do you think the right decision would have been to call 911 to get her some attention for the stab wound? I mean, obviously you would have had to deal with what you got to deal with anyways, but we're still sitting here dealing with that.
I've still been sitting right here.
Yeah. She probably would have lived from the first wound.
I'd have been sitting right here.
What I told you, she would have had lived from the first wound. You was having a full-on conversation with her. She could have had lived from the first wound. You had no intentions on letting that woman walk out of there actually breathing and being able to tell her story, her side of the story. And I don't know, maybe his psyche won't allow him to admit the truth, that he has to keep on narrating all these fake fucking things. But the honest truth is that you was not going to let that woman walk out of that house alive. You wasn't even going to let that woman walk out that house alive knowing that you assaulted her. You assaulted her because you was mad that she was mad at you, that you was drinking and you was drinking, and she wanted to get her drink and go hang out with her friend because she wasn't dealing with your mess. You was pissed off about that. And you know you abused her. You know that you attacked her. You know you assaulted her. And you was afraid that she was going to call the cops on your ass again. Like, let's just keep it a buck. Let's just keep it 100. That's what it was. You had no intentions on saving this woman. It's just really annoying. And he's a horrible liar, terrible liar. He think that he's invoking so much emotions by using movie clips and trying to make it seem like that is real life. Nah, absolutely not. Absolutely not. Absolutely not. You was only worrying about yourself, bro. It's really annoying me. Even now to this day, you still worrying about yourself. You don't sound remorseful at all that this woman is gone. Your quote unquote sweetie pie, your fiance, the woman that you so quote unquote loved. You don't even seem like you're remorseful. Not a tear has been shed. I have not seen not one bit of guilt about him whatsoever.
Having the same conversation with you.
But she would have been alive. And that's what I mean. I mean, there were some better decisions to be made. She had no defensive wounds on her hands. She had no cuts on her hands.
I know she didn't.
Cassandra had no defensive wounds on her hands, which contradicts Marvin's.
See what I'm talking about? See what I fucking talking about? I said if they checked and seen that if she had any wounds on her hands, that it was a struggle. There wasn't no struggle. You attacked and you murdered this woman. You had no intentions of that woman leaving that house. And you sat up there talking about she told you that she wanted you to unalive her? Oh. Like, this is ridiculous, man. Are you serious? You really want people to believe that? Like, I knew she had no defensive wounds on her. I could feel it. Because he said it was fun for him. He said it himself. He said it earlier. It was fun for him. It was a joke. She pulled out the knife. She's not stronger than me. He made it known that she's not stronger than him. Oh, let's go on. I'm getting so fed up. Let's go on.
Sorry. Marvin claimed that Cassandra was pulling on the blade side of the knife, which means she would have had lacerations on her hands. Regardless of the defensive wounds, Marvin still took Cassandra's life after he had full control of the knife. So even if she did ask him to finish her off, this is still considered murder.
And that's why I'm a little skeptical about the part where she's grabbing. You got the handle in your hand, and she's grabbing. I have never seen anyone get stabbed where they grabbed a blade and didn't get their hand cut. So I'm asking you, man to man, and
And I'm telling you, man to man.
Because obviously you understand that.
Yes, I do.
That she had the knife at first. If all this is true, she had the knife at first. You're obviously a big guy. You were able to take that knife from her, and during that struggle, she gets stabbed. Okay, but then you have control of the knife. At that point, you're not in fear for your life anymore. You're in fear of getting in trouble, and you're in fear about what happened, but you're not in fear for your life. So there's no self-defense at that point, correct?
After that, it wasn't.
Yeah, after the first stab wound, there's no self-defense. Everything you did after that's a whole separate. You could have stopped right there, called 911, and she probably lives. Okay.
Yeah,
but she told you that stuff, and you did it. So whether she had the knife at the beginning or not, doesn't change the fact about charges and things like that. So that's why I want to make sure all of that part's true. Okay? Did she have the knife first? Did you really wrestle it from her? Or did it happen a different way?
She had the knife first.
Okay. And everything you told me today is 100% correct.
Yes, sir.
She tried to grab it from the top. Somehow she doesn't get cut, other than the stab here.
Listen, this is a knife.
Mm-hmm.
She got the knife. When I wrestled it from her, I got this much of the handle.
Okay, so there's like this much handle left. There's more handle left.
Yeah,
so she has more of the handle than the blade.
She had more of a handle than some parts of the blade.
Okay.
When she pulled,
he is a damn fool. She doesn't have any cuts on her hands, meaning she had never touched the blade. She never touched the blade. When she had the knife, because you was about to hit her and attack her, you was able to get the knife from her. You was in control of this situation the whole entire time. And this is what he's not understanding. It's not registering here. You was in control of the situation the whole entire time. You admitted it, that it was fun, that she even thought that she can go toe-to-toe with you, a very strong, healthy dude, and her being a woman. You thought it was funny. You referenced that earlier. At any point in time, you could have ended it, especially once you got the knife initially. Once you got the knife, just like the detective said, you should have had called the police. This crazy woman over here just tried to stab me with the knife, or she pulled the knife on me. I need to get her up out my house, or somebody need to come here. I need to file a report, blah, 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 whatever. You could have did all that. You had control of the knife. It had never had to even get to the point where she had to still try to, squabble with you because you had the knife. You got it from her. You admitted that you got it from her. So where was there any point to squabble after that, unless you turned the knife on her and you now became the one who was not a victim, but you are now the one who is antagonizing her. You're now in pursuit to do a crime. He doesn't understand that. Once you took the knife from her, you could have de-escalated the whole situation. You did it. You ended up trying to stab her with the knife. And then that's when y'all squabbling all over again. He doesn't understand. He doesn't get it. And he's kind of, it kind of hit him kind of hard when the detective said, hey, listen, after everything that you just told us, it still stands. Like, the charges still stick. We don't want to hear about this woman saying, oh, go ahead and finish me off and stuff like that. That's not going to fly. That's not going to fly. You don't have the right to say that. In fact, truly, if you really think about it, in our country, we don't have the right to, quote unquote, commit suicide. If you really think about it. In other countries, they have a little town, a little spot in a little area where people who do want to end their life, they allow them to do that. That's not us. That's not what we do in this country. In this country, we don't believe that you even have the right to unalive yourself. That's why we have so many things out there to try to help you and to get you to not to get to that point. And if we even think that you're about to do that, what's the first thing that we do? We call 911. We call people to try to get you off the bridges. We call people to try to get you off the building, the top of the buildings, or from jumping the rooftops. We do everything in this country to prevent people from taking their lives, even when they don't want us to do that, because we figure in this country that these people are going through such a horrible time, a horrible moment in their life, that they feel that they have no other exit out of the pain that they're feeling. And that if they was able to believe that they had another option, that they won't take this option. Let's go on. We're almost done, guys.
She lost her slipping.
Mm-hmm. Both of you are standing up at this point.
Yeah. Because she been drinking.
Mm-hmm.
She lost her balance.
Mm-hmm.
And I fell with him. The blade pointed like this. I'm 235, 240. I landed on top of it like this.
What do you think, if you were on the outside looking at this, what do you think should happen to you?
What I think should happen to me?
Mm-hmm.
I should join.
Okay. I know you made some threats about that, but I mean, if you were...
Homie's sick. He's real twisted. He is a real evil son of a bitch. He's now trying to, he knows that he's going to jail, but what he's trying to do, he's trying to build a case of him being on suicide watch so he won't be in a general pop. That's what he's doing right now. That's why he keep on saying, oh, I want to take my life. I have suicidal thoughts about all this. He wants to be put on suicide watch in prison so he won't be in gen pop. That's the only thing that, you know, that he can control at this point. And that's why he's doing it the way that he's doing it and saying it the way that he's saying it. He think he's so fucking slick too. Let's go on. Let's go on.
Do you think, I mean, obviously you think what you did was wrong, correct? It was not the right thing to do.
Yeah, she's the love of my life.
Yeah.
Marvin was charged with first-degree murder, and he is currently sitting in jail awaiting trial. I'd love to hear your thoughts on this case. Do you believe it was all an accident, and Marvin only did what Cassandra asked him to do?
He's just a cold-blooded killer, okay? That's what it is. That's all he showed. He showed he is a cold-blooded killer. He's an abusive man to this woman, and he went too far, and he literally tried to cover it up. He had no intentions of committing suicide whatsoever. He was going to literally dodge and dip town, and he wasn't even, and he, you know, he expected his sisters and them to know what's going on and know why they can't get in contact with him, why they can't reach him and stuff like that. He had no intention to commit suicide. Like I said, if he wanted to commit suicide, he would have been commit suicide. He would have commit suicide right then and there after taking her life. He doesn't feel sad about it at all. He literally tried to dodge the whole entire thing. And I just hope that he does I hope he does get the right amount of time for what he did to that poor woman. You know, prayers to that woman. That's just horrible, man. Like he doesn't care. He doesn't care at all. And it's sad, you know. And I know there's people that don't care, and I know there's evil people out here who do horrible things and vicious things to people. But guys, I'm telling you, you know, for a person like me, even knowing that doesn't make it any good for me. Right? You know, it doesn't numb me out. Like I don't get numbed out for these horrible cases. You know, like that's just a part of my character and my aura. It does not change to me. The way how I feel about something 5 years ago is the same way I'm gonna feel about it 10 years ago, especially if it's a vicious, horrible, cruel crime. You know, I don't get numbed for things like this. I don't want to be numb to things like this because I don't want things like this to be the norm. I don't want things like this to be the norm. And I don't never want to have the mindset of believing that this is the norm because it's never going to be okay with me. It's never going to sit well with me. Never. Never, 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 never. Let's see. Hi, Mandy. How are you doing? It's good to see you. I appreciate your compliment. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Hey, Paul. How are you? I hope everything is well with you. I hope you're having a good Thursday. He sure didn't quit drinking when she asked him to. Why listen to her now? Right, exactly. Doesn't make any sense. Absolutely. Unlike him only think about themselves. Yeah. And you know what? The thing about it is, it's literally a human trait, right? Because I just showed you a video. The last video was a girl who had the same mindset as this man, and they both unalived their partners. It's literally a horrible, horrible human trait in that type of situation. It's a horrible human trait. Terrible. Scott Norris said he's sad that he got caught. Yes, that is true. He is sad that he got caught. Absolutely. Bashvash, how you doing? Good to see you. Careful with the suicide word. It's banned on here for monitor. Oh, I understand. But it's the truth. You know, we got to call it for what it is. Most of the time, I do say unalive or self-unaliving, but you know, that's the thing when it comes down to our culture. We do everything to prevent that from happening. We literally try to take that right away from people to, you know, unalive themselves. So for him to say that and the way how he was trying to convince, just do me, babe, just do me, finish me off, as if saying that was going to paint him in any different light, wasn't going to help. Wasn't going to help at all. Yeah, entitled, definitely. Yeah. Shout out from India. Thanks for stopping by, sir. All right, good folks. Those are the 3 cases I have for you today. I hope that you enjoy them. Thank you so much for everybody who participated in the chat. It definitely helps the channel. It makes it good. I love the immersive type of reviewing of these cases. Shout out to all the channels that I do get my cases from. Like I said, you can go check out these cases and plethora of other cases on Beyond Evil, Stay Awoke, and Red Tree Stories. Those are my top 3 favorite video essayist channels that have these type of cases and crimes, because they're very good to listen to, dissect, and point out certain things. So if you're interested in them, please check out those channels. They're great channels, and I appreciate them for allowing me to use their videos so we can have this dialogue amongst each other. So I will try to come back Saturday with 3 more cases. So I just hope everybody enjoy the rest of their evening. I only got a couple more minutes and I have to go ahead and head to work, get dressed and head to work. Y'all know how we do. You know how we do. So thank you so much, guys. I truly appreciate it. Please hit the like button on your way out, and I will see you next time. Talk to you later, everyone.